Don't miss the awesome Naruto stories my sister creates. Her last channel was hacked, so to stay in the loop, please subscribe to her new channel. It would mean a lot to her, and you won't regret it. Dear Naruto Lemon fans, I'm inviting all of you to my Boosty channel. You know that YouTube doesn't exactly approve of this kind of content, so please subscribe to my paid subscription and enjoy Naruto Lemon scenes comfortably. There are different subscription tiers from Mini Lemon to God Lemon. Those who buy the over Naruto Lemon and God Naruto Lemon, I'll mentions in the videos. Dare. My story. This story is published at the request of the viewer. Chapter 1, A Wedding of Two Worlds. The sun cast a warm, golden glow over Konoha as the village prepared for a wedding that would be remembered for years to come. Today was a special day. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, was marrying Samui, a kunoichi from the Cloud Village. Excitement filled the air as villagers gathered to witness the union of their beloved Hokage and the distinguished guest from another land. The arrival. Samui and her entourage arrived in Konoha early in the morning. Her elegant attire, traditional to the Cloud Village, stood out in sharp contrast to the bright and colorful decorations adorning the streets of Konoha. The villagers, many of whom had never seen clothing like Samui's before, watched with a mix of curiosity and admiration. Among the crowd, Naruto was practically vibrating with excitement. He turned to Sakura, his eyes wide. I've never seen a wedding like this before. Look at all the different clothes and food. Sakura, smiling, responded, it's definitely different from what we're used to. I hope everything goes smoothly. The ceremony begins. As noon approached, the ceremony began. Minato, dressed in his Hokage robes, stood at the altar with a mixture of pride and nervousness. He glanced over at Samui, who was walking down the aisle with grace, though she appeared slightly unsure about the unfamiliar surroundings. As Samui reached the altar, Minato leaned in and whispered, "You look amazing. Don't worry, everyone is excited to see this." Samui smiled, her nerves settling. Thank you. I've never been a part of a Konoha wedding before. It's a bit overwhelming. The ceremony combined elements from both villages, incorporating traditional Konoha rituals with those of the Cloud Village. Samui, though familiar with some aspects of the ceremony, found herself occasionally glancing at Minato for guidance. During a particularly intricate ritual, Samui whispered, "How am I doing?" Minato chuckled softly. "You're doing great. Just follow my lead, and it'll all be fine." Cultural clashes. After the ceremony, it was time for the wedding feast. The Cloud Village had brought a variety of traditional dishes, including some spicy and unfamiliar delicacies. The Konoha guests approached the unfamiliar fare with cautious curiosity. Naruto, always eager to try new things, took a large bite of a particularly spicy dish. His face turned bright red, and he waved his hands for water. Sakura, watching him, shook her head with a grin. "Naruto, you really need to learn to handle your spice levels." Naruto, his mouth burning, managed a pained smile. "It's worth it for the experience. But maybe next time, a little less spice." Meanwhile, the Cloud Village delegation was trying out Konoha's traditional dishes, such as dango and ramen. One of the Cloud ninjas attempted to eat a bowl of ramen but ended up making a mess, struggling with the slippery noodles. He looked up, embarrassed. Samui, noticing the scene, walked over and offered a kind smile. "Don't worry, it's an acquired skill. Here, let me show you." The ninja looked relieved. "Thank you, Samui. It's harder than it looks." Dancing and festivities. The reception featured a blend of traditional dances from both villages. The Konoha band played cheerful music, and Samui, encouraged by Minato, joined in a traditional Konoha dance. Her efforts, though a bit clumsy, were endearing. Minato laughed, trying to follow along. "You're doing great. Just keep the rhythm like this," he said, demonstrating the steps. Samui, laughing, responded, "I think I'm more of a watcher than a dancer." The Cloud Village guests performed their own traditional dance, characterized by intricate movements and rhythmic beats. Minato, eager to participate, attempted to join in. His dance moves were enthusiastic but out of sync, creating a humorous contrast to the graceful Cloud Village performance. "Maybe I should stick to being a Hokage," Minato joked, his face flushed with effort. Samui grinned. "You're not too bad for a first-timer. At least you're having fun." A toast to the future. As the evening approached, Minato and Samui took to the stage for a toast. Minato, visibly relaxed and slightly amused by the day's events, addressed the gathered guests. "Thank you all for being here today. It's been a day full of surprises and laughter, and I'm grateful for everyone's patience and understanding. Here's to a future of friendship and unity between our villages." Samui squeezed Minato's hand and added, "I'm excited about this new chapter in our lives. Thank you all for making us feel so welcome. It's been a day I'll never forget." The evening ends. As the night drew to a close, the guests mingled, exchanged stories, and forged new connections. Despite the initial cultural differences and awkward moments, the wedding was a joyful and successful event. The blending of traditions had brought the two villages closer together, and the laughter shared would be remembered fondly by all. Minato and Samui, standing together and looking out over the festive scene, felt a sense of satisfaction. They knew their future would have its challenges, but with the support of their friends and families, they were optimistic about what lay ahead. Under the stars and the soft glow of lanterns, Minato and Samui's wedding symbolized the beginning of a new era of harmony between Konoha and the Cloud Village, filled with laughter, love, and the promise of many more shared moments to come. Chapter 2, New Beginnings. The sun rose over Konoha, casting a warm light on the village as it prepared for another day. For Samui, today marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. After the wedding, she had officially moved to Konoha to start her life with Minato. As she settled into her new home, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and nerves about her new surroundings. The morning routine. Samui was still getting used to the differences in daily life compared to the Cloud Village. Her new home, a charming house on the edge of Konoha, was beautifully decorated but lacked the familiar amenities she was used to. As she attempted to make breakfast, she found herself puzzled by the unfamiliar kitchen appliances. Minato, who had already been up early for his Hokage duties, walked into the kitchen to find Samui struggling with a toaster. "Need some help?" Minato asked with a gentle smile. Samui looked up, slightly embarrassed. "I've never seen a toaster like this before. How do you get it to work?" Minato chuckled, moving over to show her the controls. "It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. I can show you how to use it, and we'll have breakfast ready in no time." Meeting the Konoha 11. Later that day, Minato suggested introducing Samui to the Konoha 11, a group of his closest friends and allies. The group had gathered at the Hokage's office for a brief meeting, and Minato thought it would be a good opportunity for Samui to meet everyone. As they arrived, Naruto was the first to spot Samui. His eyes widened in recognition and curiosity. "Hey, it's Samui. Welcome to Konoha." Sakura, standing beside Naruto, greeted Samui with a warm smile. "Nice to meet you, Samui. How are you finding Konoha so far?" Samui returned the smile, feeling a bit more at ease. "Thank you. It's been an adjustment, but everyone has been very welcoming." The rest of the Konoha 11, including Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Ino, greeted Samui with friendly nods and brief conversations. The interactions were light-hearted, but Samui couldn't help but feel a little overwhelmed by the sheer energy of the group. Awkward moments. During the meeting, Naruto's enthusiasm was on full display. He was eager to show off his favorite ramen shop to Samui. "You've got to try the best ramen in Konoha. It's totally amazing." Samui laughed, feeling more at ease. "I'd love to, but I should probably get used to the kitchen appliances first. Maybe ramen will be a good way to start." Later, while walking through the village, Samui encountered a few humorous situations. She found herself puzzled by Konoha's unique traditions, such as the elaborate way villagers celebrated small victories. At one point, she accidentally knocked over a stack of celebratory flags while trying to navigate her way through a crowded street. "Oh no!" Samui exclaimed, trying to pick up the flags. A group of children ran over to help, their laughter filling the air. Naruto, passing by, saw the commotion and grinned. "Looks like you've made a bit of a mess. Don't worry, it happens to everyone." Building relationships. As days turned into weeks, Samui started to feel more comfortable in her new environment. She began to forge bonds with the Konoha 11, joining them for casual outings and learning more about their daily lives. During one outing, Samui and Sakura went shopping for groceries. Sakura, noticing Samui's initial confusion with the local produce, offered her guidance. "Here's how you pick the best vegetables. It can be a bit tricky at first." Samui appreciated the help. "Thank you, Sakura. I'm still getting used to all the new things." In the evenings, Minato and Samui would often sit on their porch, talking about their day. The conversations were filled with laughter and shared experiences. Minato would recount humorous stories from his Hokage duties, while Samui would share her experiences with adjusting to Konoha. "I'm starting to feel like a true Konoha resident," Samui said one evening, leaning into Minato's embrace. "Though, I think I still need to work on my cooking skills." Minato laughed softly. "You're doing great. It's all part of the adventure." Settling in. By the end of the week, Samui had begun to settle into her new life. The initial awkwardness had faded, replaced by a growing sense of belonging. The Konoha 11 had embraced her with open arms, and she was starting to feel at home. The village was full of new experiences and friendly faces, and Samui was ready to embrace them all. With Minato by her side and the support of her new friends, she felt confident that she would make the most of this new chapter in her life. Under the soft glow of the evening sun, Samui looked out over Konoha, a smile on her face. The journey ahead was filled with possibilities, and she was excited to see what the future would bring. Chapter 3, Hokage's Wife. The Hokage's office was a hive of activity, with paperwork piled high and various requests streaming in. Samui had been excited but nervous about diving into her new role as Minato's wife and contributing to his duties as Hokage. Today was her first real test. Minato greeted her with a warm smile as she entered the office. He handed her a stack of documents with a casual, "These are the daily reports and requests from different departments. If you could start by sorting them and prioritizing which ones need immediate attention, that would be a big help." Samui took the papers and settled into a chair, determined to tackle the task. As she began to sift through the documents, she realized how intricate and detailed the reports were. Her brow furrowed as she tried to make sense of the complex bureaucratic language. Half an hour into the task, Samui's hand brushed against a cup of coffee, sending it tumbling over a stack of important papers. Her eyes widened in horror as the coffee seeped into the documents, causing the ink to blur and the pages to stick together. "Oh no, this is a disaster," Samui muttered, scrambling to salvage the papers. Minato walked in just as she was desperately trying to separate the soaked documents. Minato's eyes sparkled with amusement as he observed the scene. "I see you've already met the infamous Hokage paperwork challenge," he said with a laugh. He stepped in to help her clean up the mess, guiding her on how to manage the paperwork more efficiently. Don't worry, it happens to everyone, Minato reassured her. The trick is to keep things organized from the start. With Minato's guidance, Samui started to get a better handle on the paperwork. Her next task was to address the villagers' requests. A young mother came in, carrying a heartfelt plea for additional support for her child's education. Samui listened attentively but felt unsure of how to respond. She flipped through a large binder, searching for the right guidelines but found herself lost in a maze of regulations and policies. I'm not sure how to handle this, Samui confessed, glancing at the mother with a worried expression. The mother smiled kindly. Maybe you should ask Minato for advice. He's great with these things. Samui nodded gratefully, calling Minato over. He took the time to explain the process and reassured the mother that her request would be addressed. Samui felt a wave of relief wash over her and appreciated Minato's patience and support. Later in the day, Tenten arrived at the Hokage's office to discuss a new training program for the village's shinobi. She was cheerful and full of energy as she greeted Samui. Hi, Samui. How's your first day going? Samui managed to smile, feeling a bit more at ease. It's been a bit overwhelming, but I'm getting there. I've already managed to spill coffee on some important documents and get tangled up in the guidelines. Tenten laughed, her eyes twinkling. That's all part of the learning curve. If you need any help with the training program, I'm here to assist. Samui appreciated the offer and spent some time discussing the training program with Tenten. The conversation helped her gain a clearer understanding of the village's needs and the intricacies of the program. In the afternoon, Minato tasked Samui with reviewing ongoing projects in the village. She visited various sites, including a new playground under construction. At the site, she encountered a team of builders who were working diligently. Samui approached them with enthusiasm. How's the playground coming along? Any issues I should be aware of? One of the builders, noticing Samui's unfamiliarity with construction, smiled and said, everything's going smoothly. The swings are already at the right height for safety. Samui, trying to be helpful, suggested, maybe you could make the swings a bit higher? It seems like they might be too low. The builders chuckled softly. We've already measured everything carefully. Don't worry, it's all set. Samui laughed at her own mistake, feeling a bit embarrassed but appreciating their good-natured response. The builders assured her that the project was on track, and she felt a sense of satisfaction in seeing the community's progress. By the end of the day, Samui was both exhausted and exhilarated. Minato met her back at the office, where she recounted her experiences with a mix of frustration and humor. It was definitely more challenging than I expected, Samui admitted. But I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. I just need more practice. Minato's face softened with pride. You did a great job today. It's all about learning and adjusting. You're doing wonderfully, and I'm really proud of you. As they left the office together, the evening sun casting a warm glow over Konoha, Samui felt a growing confidence. The village was starting to feel like home, and with Minato's support and the encouragement of the villagers, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Hand in hand, Samui and Minato walked through the village, ready to embrace the future and the adventures it would bring. Chapter 4, Mishaps and Mayhem. The sun was shining brightly over Konoha as Samui and Minato began their day. After the challenges of her first few days in her new role, Samui was eager to see what the village had in store for her today. Their first stop was the training grounds. As they arrived, a group of ninjas was already hard at work, eager to showcase their skills to Samui, the Hokage's wife. Kiba, known for his boundless energy, decided to put on an extra show. He performed his Fang over Fang jutsu with much enthusiasm, spinning through the air in a cyclone of chakra and fur. Unfortunately, his dramatic movements stirred up a cloud of dust, covering Samui from head to toe. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Kiba exclaimed, noticing Samui's dusty appearance. She laughed, brushing the dirt from her clothes. No problem at all, Kiba. That was quite the performance. Ino, who was practicing her mind transfer jutsu, tried to impress Samui by demonstrating her technique. However, her attempt to show off went awry when she accidentally swapped minds with a nearby rock. The sight of Ino's voice coming from the boulder left everyone in fits of laughter. "I'm a rock now, aren't I?" Ino's disembodied voice said. While Samui and Minato struggled to contain their amusement. The training session was filled with more light-hearted moments, but the real highlight came when they were interrupted by a young ninja named Konohamaru, who arrived with a special mission scroll. He was eager to show his skills and impress Samui. "I've got a top-secret mission for you, Samui," Konohamaru declared, presenting the scroll with dramatic flair. "It's extremely important." Samui took the scroll and opened it with curiosity. "What's the mission?" Konohamaru's expression was serious. "You need to deliver this message to the ramen shop across town. It's urgent." Samui was taken aback. "A ramen shop? Are you sure?" Konohamaru nodded eagerly. "Absolutely. It's a matter of great importance." Samui agreed to the mission and made her way to the ramen shop. When she arrived, the urgent message turned out to be an order for extra noodles and a new topping. The ramen shop owner greeted her with a big smile and thanked her for the delivery, revealing that they were about to run out of the special topping. Back at the Hokage's office, Samui and Minato were visited by a traveling circus that had set up in the village square. The performers wanted to show off their talents to the Hokage's wife. A clown with a big red nose and oversized shoes approached Samui with a wide grin. "We heard you were in town, and we thought we'd put on a special show just for you." The clown juggled flaming torches and performed elaborate tricks. However, his enthusiasm led to a series of small explosions, sending confetti and fireworks into the air. Samui and Minato ducked to avoid the flying confetti, while the rest of the villagers cheered and laughed at the chaotic performance. One of the circus performers, a magician, attempted to pull a rabbit out of a hat but ended up with a stuffed toy instead. Despite the mishaps, Samui found the performance entertaining and couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the acts. As the day came to a close, Minato had planned a special dinner for Samui. They enjoyed a quiet, intimate meal in their garden, surrounded by lanterns and the sounds of the evening. "It's been quite a day," Samui reflected, smiling at Minato. "From the training grounds to the circus, I feel like the village is really making me feel welcome." Minato took her hand gently. "The village has a unique way of doing things. It's never dull around here, and I'm glad you're getting to experience it all." Under the stars, Samui and Minato shared a peaceful moment, savoring their time together. The day's events, though filled with chaos and laughter, had brought them closer and made Samui feel more at home in Konoha. As they looked up at the night sky, Samui felt a deep sense of contentment. The village had welcomed her in its own special way, and with Minato by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges and adventures the future held. Chapter 5, Political Intrigue. As Konoha settled into its routine, a new challenge emerged for Minato and Samui, the political maneuvering of rival villages who were less than pleased with their union. The neighboring villages saw Minato and Samui's marriage as a potential threat to their own influence and began plotting awkwardly comedic schemes to undermine their happiness. The Cloud Village's scheme. In the neighboring Cloud Village, an elder named Kuratsuchi was particularly concerned about the alliance forming between Konoha and the Cloud. Determined to create trouble, he devised a plan involving a fake diplomatic envoy. Dressed in an elaborate costume that looked more like a circus outfit than a diplomatic robe, Kuratsuchi sent his envoy, a bumbling ninja named Fumio, to Konoha. Fumio's mission was to deliver a letter claiming that the Cloud Village had an urgent complaint about Samui's behavior. Fumio arrived in Konoha, tripping over his own feet and dropping the letter repeatedly. When he finally reached the Hokage's office, he presented the letter with great fanfare, only to have it unroll to reveal a list of completely ridiculous complaints. 1. Samui allegedly ate all the Cloud Village's ramen during her visit. 2. She supposedly stole a sacred Cloud Village spoon. 3. She was seen using a Cloud Village flag as a napkin. Minato and Samui tried to contain their laughter as they read the letter. "Well, I can assure you," Minato said, "we have no intention of stealing spoons or using flags as napkins." Fumio, oblivious to the mockery, continued his exaggerated complaints. "I must insist that the matter be addressed immediately." After some negotiation, Minato invited Fumio to a proper meal, serving him the finest ramen in Konoha. The envoy's protests quickly turned into gratitude as he enjoyed the meal, and he returned to the Cloud Village with a newfound appreciation for Konoha's hospitality, completely missing the point of his mission. The Sand Village's plot. The Sand Village, led by the shrewd but somewhat forgetful Gaara, decided to employ a more direct approach. They sent a delegation to Konoha with a giant sand sculpture of Minato and Samui, intended to be a gift of goodwill. However, due to a mix-up in the delivery, the sculpture arrived damaged and hilariously inaccurate. The sculpture's depiction of Minato and Samui included an oversized nose on Minato and comically large eyes on Samui. The delegation, trying to maintain a serious demeanor, presented the gift with great ceremony. "We hope you appreciate this token of our esteem," the Sand Village envoy said, attempting to look dignified as the crowd stifled laughter. Samui and Minato exchanged glances, struggling to keep straight faces. "It's certainly unique," Samui said diplomatically. The delegation, unaware of the damage, continued their visit, only to be met with the villagers' light-hearted jokes about the sculpture. By the end of the day, the sculpture had become a popular attraction in Konoha, with children taking turns pretending to be Minato and Samui with their exaggerated features. The Mist Village's misunderstanding. The Mist Village, under the leadership of a well-meaning but somewhat clumsy Mizukage, sent a pair of ninjas with a special mission to observe Samui and Minato's interactions and report back. However, the ninjas, who had never been to Konoha before, quickly got lost and ended up following the wrong couple around the village. Their attempts to gather information included eavesdropping on a romantic dinner between two villagers who were mistaken for Minato and Samui. They reported back to the Mist Village with details of a completely ordinary evening, including Minato dropping his chopsticks and Samui talking about her favorite local restaurant. The Mist Village was baffled by the report, and the ninjas were eventually found and brought back to Konoha. Samui and Minato, once again, couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. The village's response. As the rival villages' schemes became increasingly ludicrous, Minato and Samui took it all in stride. They continued to focus on their responsibilities and their relationship, enjoying the support and camaraderie of the Konoha villagers. Minato gathered his advisors and assured them, "These schemes are more humorous than threatening. We'll handle them with our usual grace and a sense of humor." Samui, ever the supportive wife, added, "And we'll make sure to enjoy every moment of this unique adventure." In the end, the rival villages' attempts to sabotage Minato and Samui's marriage only strengthened their bond and deepened their connection with the villagers. They faced the challenges with humor and grace, showing that their love and partnership were stronger than any political intrigue. Chapter 6, The Uchiha Affair. The air in Konoha was thick with tension. The Uchiha clan, long known for their fiery tempers and proud nature, had been grumbling about their perceived marginalization. The once tightly knit clan felt increasingly alienated from the Hokage's administration. With Minato now the Hokage and Samui his wife, the pressure was on to address the simmering discontent. One morning, Minato and Samui found themselves in a tense meeting with Fugaku Uchiha and other prominent members of the clan. Fugaku's stern gaze made it clear that this was not a casual chat. The Uchiha clan had been patient, but their patience was wearing thin. "We feel that our contributions are not being acknowledged," Fugaku stated, his voice heavy with discontent. The Uchiha have always been a pillar of this village. It seems as though we are being pushed to the sidelines. Minato nodded thoughtfully, understanding the gravity of the situation. We recognize the Uchiha's importance to Konoha. I want to ensure that we address your concerns and find a way to strengthen our relationship. Samui, ever perceptive, saw an opportunity to turn the mood around. How about organizing a community event? We could have a showcase where the Uchiha clan highlights their skills and contributions. It might help bridge the gap and show the village what the Uchiha bring to our community. Fugaku's expression softened slightly, though he was still cautious. A community event could work, but it's important that it's not just a token gesture. With a plan in mind, Minato and Samui began organizing the event. Their preparations were filled with moments of levity and laughter. While setting up the event stage, Samui accidentally knocked over a pile of decorations. Streamers and banners tumbled down in a colorful cascade, and Minato found himself buried under a pile of bright, fluttering paper. Samui couldn't stop laughing as she helped him out. Well, I guess we've made sure the event will be unforgettable. Minato grinned, brushing streamers off his shoulders. Yes, it seems we're making quite an impression already. As they worked side by side, their playful banter and shared laughs eased the stress of the situation. Despite the challenges, their collaboration was filled with genuine moments of joy. The day of the event arrived, and the village square was transformed into a lively celebration. Booths and stages were set up to showcase the Uchiha clan's impressive skills. The air buzzed with excitement as villagers gathered to watch. The Uchiha clan's fire jutsu demonstrations were particularly spectacular. The crowd watched in awe as clan members performed intricate and powerful techniques. Minato and Samui roamed through the square, enjoying the festivities and taking in the vibrant atmosphere. Samui admired the precision and artistry of the Uchiha's performances. Their fire jutsu is even more impressive up close, she remarked to Minato. Minato nodded, clearly pleased. They've always been a vital part of our village. It's wonderful to see them getting the recognition they deserve. During one of the performances, a young Uchiha named Itachi was performing a fire jutsu display when an unexpected small explosion occurred. The resulting burst of flames and sparks flew into the air, creating a dramatic, if somewhat uncontrolled, spectacle. The crowd gasped, then burst into laughter as Itachi, looking flustered, tried to maintain his composure. Minato and Samui shared an amused glance as they watched the scene unfold. It looks like we've had an unexpected addition to the show, Minato said, trying to stifle his laughter. Samui, still chuckling, replied, it certainly makes the event more memorable. As the event came to a close, Minato took the stage to thank everyone for their participation. Today has been a great success, and it's a testament to the strength and unity of our village. I hope this event has shown that we value each and every one of you, including the Uchiha clan. Fugaku approached Minato and Samui with a warm smile. Thank you for organizing this. It's clear that you both care deeply about the village and its people. The Uchiha clan appreciates the effort and the recognition. Samui responded with a sincere smile, we're happy to have been a part of it. It's important that we all work together to build a stronger village. As the villagers began to disperse, Minato and Samui found a quiet spot in the village garden. The evening breeze carried the distant sounds of celebration, and they took a moment to reflect on the day's events. That went well, don't you think? Minato asked, leaning against a tree. Samui nodded, resting her head on his shoulder. It did. And it's nice to see the village coming together. Minato smiled, wrapping an arm around her. I couldn't have done it without you. Their peaceful moment was a fitting end to a day that had balanced serious issues with light-hearted moments. They had managed to address the Uchiha clan's unrest with both grace and humor, strengthening their bond and reinforcing the unity of the village. As they walked back through the village, hand in hand, they felt a renewed sense of optimism for the future and the challenges they would face together. Chapter 7, Mission Gone Wrong. The sun had barely risen when Minato and Samui prepared for their latest mission. The village had received intelligence about a rogue ninja causing trouble in the outskirts, and Minato, ever the responsible Hokage, decided to handle the situation personally. He requested Samui's assistance, knowing her skills would be invaluable. As they gathered their gear in the Hokage office, Minato looked over at Samui, who was expertly checking her weapons and equipment. "You ready for this?" Samui, her expression focused, glanced up and grinned. "Absolutely. I've been looking forward to teaming up with you on a mission." With a final nod, the two set out toward the mission site. Their journey was filled with light-hearted banter. Minato's attempt to lighten the mood with jokes about the rogue ninja's supposed incompetence led to Samui chuckling. "What if he's just misunderstood?" Samui teased. "Maybe he's not actually causing trouble, he's just really bad at his job." Minato laughed. That would be the most anticlimactic mission ever. As they approached the target area, the landscape shifted from a peaceful forest to a more rugged terrain. They soon spotted the rogue ninja's hideout, a ramshackle hut surrounded by a makeshift barrier of traps. The two exchanged glances, ready for action. The plan was simple: infiltrate the hideout, subdue the rogue, and gather any useful information. They moved silently toward the hut, but as they neared, things started to go awry. Samui, attempting to disarm a trap, triggered it instead. A net of large, sticky webs shot out, ensnaring both her and Minato. "Not exactly the stealthy entrance I had in mind," Minato remarked, struggling against the sticky webbing. Samui laughed despite their predicament. "I guess we've got a sticky situation on our hands." After some effort, they managed to free themselves from the webs. They crept into the hut, only to find that the rogue ninja was not the fearsome enemy they had imagined but a bumbling, disheveled figure trying to cook a meal over a poorly managed fire. "Who's there?" the rogue ninja called out, his voice trembling. Minato and Samui exchanged bewildered looks before Minato stepped forward. "We're here to talk, not to fight. It seems like there's been a misunderstanding." The rogue ninja, whose name turned out to be Ryo, looked relieved. "Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid you were here to take me in. I'm really just trying to cook a decent meal. I'm terrible at this whole rogue ninja thing." Samui couldn't help but chuckle. "Well, it looks like you could use some help with your cooking, too." Minato and Samui helped Ryo with his cooking, trying to salvage the meal that had been more smoke than food. As they worked, Ryo explained his situation. He had left his village in frustration but had not intended to cause any real harm. He was simply lost and struggling to survive. As the evening wore on, the three of them sat around a modest meal they managed to prepare. Ryo, now much more relaxed, thanked Minato and Samui for their help. "I never thought I'd end up having dinner with the Hokage and his wife," Ryo said with a sheepish grin. Minato laughed. "Well, it's not every day we get to share a meal with someone we came to apprehend." Samui raised her cup in a mock toast. "To unexpected missions and new friends." The mood lightened considerably, and by the time they finished eating, Ryo had decided to return to his village with Minato and Samui to make amends for his actions. As they walked back to Konoha, Minato and Samui found themselves laughing about the absurdity of the mission. Their shared experience had strengthened their bond and provided a humorous story to add to their growing collection. "That was definitely one for the books," Samui said, leaning against Minato as they walked. Minato nodded, smiling warmly. "I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this mission." They walked hand in hand under the stars, enjoying the peace that followed the unexpected adventure. Their relationship had grown stronger through their shared experiences, and the mission had turned into a testament to their teamwork and deepening romance. Chapter 8, Hidden Secrets. The sun was setting over Konoha, casting a warm, golden glow across the village. Inside their home, Samui was in the middle of a routine cleaning session, dusting off old shelves and organizing items that had accumulated over time. Minato had been called away for a brief Hokage duty, leaving Samui to her own devices. While tidying up a corner of their study, Samui's hand brushed against a dusty, forgotten box tucked away behind a stack of old scrolls. Curiosity piqued, she carefully pulled it out and opened it, revealing a collection of peculiar items. Among them were old photographs, strange gadgets, and a mysterious-looking notebook. Intrigued, Samui picked up the notebook and flipped through its pages. It was filled with sketches, notes, and jotted-down plans. Some pages depicted complex strategies, while others had curious doodles and nonsensical scribbles. As Samui was engrossed in the notebook, Minato returned home, looking tired but relieved to be back. He dropped his bag and walked into the study, his eyes widening in surprise as he saw Samui with the notebook in hand. "Ah, you found my old journal," Minato said, trying to sound nonchalant but failing to hide his nervousness. Samui looked up, her eyebrows raised in curiosity. "Old journal? There's some interesting stuff in here. I didn't realize you were so creative." Minato chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Well, that journal contains some things I worked on during my earlier days. There are a few unconventional ideas in there." Samui's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Unconventional? Like what? Spinning tops that explode or a secret recipe for ramen that makes people dance?" Minato laughed, a bit embarrassed. "Nothing that extreme. Just some old projects and personal thoughts." It was a bit of an experimental phase. As Samui continued to browse through the notebook, she came across a page that made her stop in her tracks. It was a detailed drawing of what appeared to be a secret room beneath the Hokage's mansion. The sketch was accompanied by cryptic notes about hidden compartments and mysterious devices. "Minato, what's this about a hidden room?" Samui asked, holding up the page with a raised eyebrow. Minato's face turned red, and he quickly tried to dismiss it. "Oh, that's just a project I worked on years ago. It's nothing important." Samui's curiosity was now fully piqued. "Really? It looks pretty elaborate. Are you sure it's nothing important?" With a resigned sigh, Minato decided it was time to reveal the truth. "Alright, I'll tell you. I had a few hobbies back then, and one of them was designing hidden compartments and secret rooms. It was a bit of a pastime, nothing more than a hobby. I thought it would be fun to create some sort of secret base beneath the mansion, but I never actually used it." Samui's eyes widened in amusement. "So, you're telling me that you've got a hidden room with secret gadgets and traps just lying around, and you never even used it?" Minato nodded sheepishly. "Exactly. I guess I got carried away with the idea." Unable to suppress her laughter, Samui grinned. "You're full of surprises, Minato. Maybe we should explore this hidden room of yours. It sounds like a fun adventure." Minato's face brightened with a mixture of relief and excitement. "That's a great idea. I'd love to show you." The couple ventured into the mansion's basement, where Minato led Samui to a concealed door he had long forgotten. With a few twists and turns of a hidden mechanism, the door creaked open to reveal a small, dimly lit room filled with curious contraptions and forgotten gadgets. Samui's eyes sparkled with delight as she examined the room. "This is amazing. I can't believe you kept all this hidden away." Minato shrugged with a sheepish grin. "It seemed like a good idea at the time. I guess I never got around to finishing or using any of it." As they explored the room together, Minato and Samui's laughter and playful banter filled the air. They discovered quirky inventions, like a contraption that produced an endless stream of rubber balls, and a series of puzzles that Minato had designed for fun. Samui found one of the gadgets, a small device that, when activated, played an old recording of Minato's voice attempting to give motivational speeches. "Oh, this is too good," she exclaimed, holding up the device. Minato chuckled, watching Samui's amused reaction. "I may have gotten a little carried away with the motivational speeches. It was all in good fun." As they continued to explore, Samui found a hidden compartment containing a box of old, handwritten love letters and drawings. She looked up at Minato with a mixture of surprise and affection. "So, you were a romantic at heart, too?" Minato blushed, taking the box from her. "I guess you could say that. I wanted to make sure there was something special here for when I finally got around to using it." Samui smiled warmly, touched by the gesture. "Well, I'm glad we found it. It's a reminder of how much thought and effort you put into everything you do." As they left the hidden room and made their way back to the main house, Minato took Samui's hand in his heart full of love and appreciation. "Thank you for indulging me in this little adventure. It's moments like these that remind me how lucky I am to have you by my side." Samui squeezed his hand, her eyes shining with affection. "I wouldn't have it any other way. You keep surprising me, Minato, and I love it." Their shared exploration of Minato's hidden room brought them closer, deepening their romantic bond and providing them with a new and cherished memory. Chapter 9, A New Friend. The tranquil afternoon in Konoha was disrupted by an unexpected arrival, a traveling performer named Kaito. He appeared at the village gates, an eccentric figure dressed in bright, mismatched clothing, with a large, colorful hat perched jauntily on his head. His entrance was accompanied by a burst of confetti from a handheld cannon, which startled a few passing villagers. Minato and Samui were just finishing a quiet lunch at home when a commotion outside drew their attention. Curiosity piqued, they headed out to investigate. The sight of Kaito performing impromptu acrobatics and juggling flaming torches immediately captured their interest. "What in the world?" Samui said, watching with a mixture of amusement and bewilderment. Minato laughed. "Looks like we've got a new performer in town. Should we see what he's up to?" Samui nodded, intrigued. "Let's go." As they approached, Kaito noticed them and bounded over with a wide grin. "Ah, fresh faces. I'm Kaito, the greatest performer you'll ever meet. Care for a demonstration of my incredible skills?" Minato and Samui exchanged amused glances. "Sure, let's see what you've got," Minato replied. Kaito's performance was a whirlwind of juggling, acrobatics, and magic tricks. He even managed to pull a live rabbit out of a top hat, much to the delight of a gathering crowd. Samui found herself laughing at Kaito's antics, while Minato was impressed by the performer's energy and charisma. After the performance, Kaito approached Minato and Samui, still brimming with enthusiasm. "So, what do you think? Aren't I amazing?" Samui smiled. "You're definitely entertaining. What brings you to Konoha?" Kaito struck a dramatic pose. "I'm on a quest to spread joy and wonder across the land. And it seems fate has brought me to your wonderful village. Plus, I heard there's a handsome Hokage and his lovely wife who might appreciate a little excitement." Minato chuckled. "Well, we could use a bit of excitement. How about you stay in Konoha for a while?" Kaito's eyes lit up. "I'd be honored. I'm sure my presence will add a delightful spark to your village." With that, Kaito set up residence in a small, charming house near the village square. His arrival brought a mix of laughter, chaos, and curiosity to Konoha. His daily performances became a highlight for the villagers, drawing crowds eager to see his latest tricks and antics. One day, as Minato and Samui were out for a walk, they encountered Kaito in the middle of a new routine. He was attempting to train a troupe of local cats to perform tricks, much to their visible displeasure. "Having some trouble with your feline assistants?" Samui asked, watching with amusement as a particularly stubborn cat refused to jump through a hoop. Kaito sighed dramatically. "Cats are notoriously difficult to train. They have their own agenda, you know. Minato grinned. Maybe they're just not as impressed with your performance as the villagers are. Kaido shook his head. Impossible. I'll have them trained in no time. Despite Kaido's optimistic outlook, his attempts to train the cats remained a comedic spectacle. His persistence and good humor in the face of repeated failures only endeared him more to the villagers, including Minato and Samui. Over time, Kaido's presence in Konoha began to have a noticeable impact on village life. His antics brought a sense of fun and unpredictability that contrasted sharply with the routine of daily life. He became a beloved figure, with Minato and Samui frequently joining in his performances and enjoying his infectious enthusiasm. One evening, after a particularly successful performance, Minato, Samui, and Kaito shared a celebratory dinner. Kaito regaled them with stories of his travels, each tale more exaggerated than the last, causing Minato and Samui to laugh heartily. "I have to admit," Minato said between laughs, "you've definitely brought a new kind of excitement to our lives." Samui raised her glass. "To new friends and the joy they bring." Kaito toasted with them, his eyes sparkling with gratitude. "To friendship and the endless adventure it brings." As the night wore on, Kaito's presence continued to weave its magic into the fabric of Konoha. His infectious spirit and humor became a regular part of the village's life, adding a new dynamic to Minato and Samui's world. In Kaito's company, Minato and Samui discovered a new way to find joy in their daily lives, their relationship growing stronger through shared laughter and the unexpected surprises that Kaito brought. Chapter 10, Tensions Rise. The atmosphere in Konoha grew tense as political tensions from neighboring villages began to escalate. Rumors of potential conflicts and sabotage made their way into the village, stirring unease among the citizens. Minato, ever vigilant, focused on diplomatic efforts to resolve the situation, while Samui struggled to adapt to the new pressures on their relationship and their lives. One evening, as Minato pored over documents in his office, Samui entered with a bright smile, determined to lighten his mood. "Long day?" Samui asked, peering over his shoulder at the piles of paperwork. Minato looked up, his eyes weary. "You could say that. It seems like every day brings a new problem. I'm trying to balance diplomacy with keeping the village safe." Samui walked over and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Well, I'm here to help however I can. How about a little break? I've planned a surprise for tonight." Minato raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "A surprise? What is it?" Samui grinned mischievously. "It's a secret. Just trust me." Later that evening, Minato followed Samui out of their home and into the village's newly decorated park. Samui had arranged a whimsical setting with lanterns hanging from the trees, fairy lights twinkling in the branches, and a picnic blanket spread out on the grass. The park, usually bustling with activity, was now serene and inviting. "Welcome to our little escape," Samui said, guiding Minato to the blanket. "I thought we could use a break from the chaos." Minato took in the scene and smiled, his stress momentarily forgotten. "This is wonderful, Samui. Thank you." As they settled down, Samui pulled out a basket filled with Minato's favorite snacks. They shared a light meal, and Samui began to talk about her day, making Minato laugh with her stories about the village's quirky characters and the amusing situations she had encountered. At one point, Samui playfully mimicked some of Konoha's more eccentric villagers. Her exaggerated impressions making Minato laugh heartily. "You should see yourself sometimes," she said with a grin. "You're always so serious. It's nice to see you relaxed." Minato leaned back, looking at her with affection. "I couldn't ask for a better partner. You've brought so much joy into my life, especially during these stressful times." Samui's eyes softened. "And you've always been my rock. We'll get through this together, just like we always do." As they enjoyed each other's company, the distant sound of a minor argument between two villagers reached their ears. Samui rolled her eyes and chuckled. Looks like some things never change. Minato laughed. True. But with you by my side, I feel like we can handle anything. Their quiet evening was interrupted by a visit from Kaito, who appeared with a bright smile and a bag full of new tricks. I thought I'd drop by and see how my favorite Hokage and his lovely wife were doing, he said, performing a quick card trick that made Samui and Minato laugh. Perfect timing, Kaito. Minato said. We were just enjoying a break from everything. Kaito joined them, bringing his usual flair and humor. His antics added a touch of levity to the evening, and for a while, the political tensions and worries of the world seemed to fade away. As the night progressed, Samui and Minato took a quiet stroll through the park, the lanterns casting a warm glow around them. They held hands, feeling the strength of their bond despite the challenges they faced. The village will be all right, Samui said, looking up at Minato. We have each other, and we have our friends. Minato nodded. And as long as we stand together, we can face anything. Chapter 11, A Misunderstood Date. Minato had meticulously planned a romantic evening for Samui. After weeks of intense political discussions and village crises, he wanted to create a special night just for the two of them. He chose a secluded spot near a serene lake, known for its breathtaking views and peaceful ambience. Lanterns were set up around the area, casting a soft glow over a carefully prepared dinner. Samui was excited about the surprise and eagerly followed Minato to the lake. As they arrived, she took in the beautiful setting, her eyes lighting up with delight. This is amazing, Minato. Samui said, taking in the glowing lanterns and the elegantly arranged picnic blanket. You really went all out. Minato beamed, pleased with her reaction. I wanted to do something special for us. We've been so busy lately, and I thought we deserved a break. They settled down on the blanket, and Minato started to serve the meal. Just as they began to enjoy their first course, a loud splash interrupted their peaceful moment. Minato and Samui looked up to see Kaito, drenched and flailing in the lake. Help! I'm stuck. Kaito's voice echoed across the water. Samui and Minato rushed to the edge of the lake. Kaito, what are you doing here? Minato called out, trying to suppress a laugh. Kaito, still struggling in the water, looked up with a sheepish grin. I was just passing by and, decided to take a swim. Got a little carried away. Minato shook his head, trying to hide his amusement. Well, come on. Let's get you out of there. As they helped Kaito out of the lake, he apologized profusely, dripping wet and shivering. Minato and Samui couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Once Kaito was settled in dry clothes, the three of them returned to the picnic area. Kaito, ever the optimist, tried to make the best of the situation. I guess I can't let you two have all the fun. Mind if I join you for dinner? Samui chuckled, glancing at Minato. I suppose we could use some company. Plus, it seems like you've had quite the adventure. As they continued with their meal, Kaito's antics provided endless entertainment. He told exaggerated stories about his epic swim and made playful jabs at Minato for planning such an elaborate date. Despite the interruptions, Minato and Samui found themselves enjoying the evening more than they had expected. At one point, Minato tried to salvage the romantic aspect of the night by lighting some candles and playing soft music. Just as he was about to offer Samui a dance, a group of children from the village arrived, drawn by the lanterns and the scent of food. Wow, look at all these pretty lights, one of the children exclaimed. Minato sighed, but Samui's laughter was infectious. She knelt down to speak with the children, sharing some of the food and engaging in playful conversation. The children, thrilled by the unexpected treat, were soon dancing around the lanterns. Minato watched, his heart warmed by the sight of Samui's joy. Despite the chaos, the evening had become something special, filled with unexpected moments and shared laughter. As the night wore on and the children reluctantly said their goodbyes, Minato and Samui took a quiet moment by the lake, holding hands and gazing at the stars. "Not quite the evening you planned, huh?" Samui said, leaning her head on Minato's shoulder. Minato smiled, his heart full. "It wasn't what I expected, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We made the best of it, and that's what matters." Samui squeezed his hand. "Here's to many more unforgettable nights, no matter how they turn out." With that, they enjoyed the rest of the evening together, their love and connection deepened by the shared experiences and the joy of being together, no matter the unexpected interruptions. Chapter 12, Allies and Antics. The tension between Konoha and the neighboring villages was growing, and Minato and Samui knew that strengthening alliances was crucial. They decided to host a joint meeting between Konoha's key figures and representatives from the Cloud Village to discuss the escalating situation. The meeting was set to take place in a large hall in Konoha, which was decorated to accommodate the guests. Samui, excited but a bit anxious, prepared the space with the help of a few villagers. Minato, equally determined, was busy coordinating with his advisors and preparing his speech. As the delegates from the Cloud Village arrived, Minato and Samui welcomed them with warm smiles. Among them was the Raikage, who had a reputation for being intimidating but was actually a bear of a man with a surprisingly gentle demeanor. Alongside him was Karui, a skilled kunoichi with a sharp wit and a friendly demeanor. "Welcome to Konoha," Minato greeted, shaking hands with the Raikage and the rest of the delegation. "We appreciate you coming here to discuss our mutual concerns." Clapped Minato on the back with a hearty laugh. "Good to see you, Minato. Heard a lot about your town's charm. Hope it lives up to the hype." Samui smiled and stepped forward. "I'm glad you could all make it. Let's get started and ensure our discussions go smoothly." The meeting began with formalities, but soon, it became clear that the representatives had their own quirks. Karui, for instance, couldn't resist commenting on the various decorations in the hall. "This place is nice," Karui said, surveying the room with a critical eye. "But I've seen more elegant setups at local festivals." Samui laughed, trying to keep the mood light. "I promise, we're better at hosting festivals than diplomatic meetings." As discussions turned to more serious matters, the mood shifted. The Raikage and Minato engaged in an intense debate over strategies, with each trying to assert their village's stance. Meanwhile, Samui and Karui took the opportunity to bond over snacks and shared experiences. "I've heard about your cooking skills," Karui said, nibbling on a dumpling. "Do they rival your diplomacy?" Samui chuckled. "Let's just say, I cook for my husband and friends with the same enthusiasm I put into diplomacy." The conversation between the two women shifted to lighter topics, revealing more about their lives and forging a new friendship. The contrast between their personalities, Samui's grace and Karui's straightforwardness, added a touch of humor to the meeting. When it was time for a break, Minato and they found themselves in a light-hearted competition. They had decided to have a little fun with the local villagers by hosting an impromptu race in the courtyard. The Raikage, with his impressive speed, challenged Minato, who was determined to show his skills despite the friendly rivalry. The villagers gathered to watch the spectacle, laughing and cheering as Minato and they raced each other. Samui, Karui, and several other delegates cheered from the sidelines, their laughter mingling with the excitement of the crowd. "Not bad for a Hokage," called out as he crossed the finish line, slightly ahead of Minato. "But don't think I'll let you win next time." Minato grinned, panting from the exertion. "I'll hold you to that." As the day turned to evening, the formal discussions concluded with a renewed sense of camaraderie. The representatives from the Cloud Village had enjoyed the blend of serious talks and light-hearted activities, and Minato and Samui were pleased with the outcome. That night, Minato and Samui hosted a small dinner for their guests, filled with laughter, good food, and shared stories. The evening was a success, and it helped to strengthen the bonds between Konoha and the Cloud Village. As the guests prepared to leave, Karui pulled Samui aside. "You know, despite the formalities and the pressure, today was a lot of fun. Thanks for making it enjoyable." Samui smiled warmly. "I'm glad you had a good time. Sometimes, a bit of humor goes a long way." Minato and Samui watched as the delegation departed, their spirits lifted by the positive interactions and the new friendships formed. The day had been filled with unexpected moments of joy, and they both felt a renewed sense of hope for their village's future cooperation. Chapter 13, Family Matters. The news of Samui's family visiting Konoha sent ripples of excitement through the village. It wasn't every day that prominent figures from the Cloud Village came to town. Minato and Samui prepared diligently for their arrival, wanting to make a good impression while managing their regular duties. The day of the visit arrived, and Samui's family, including her older brother the Raikage, her younger brother Karui, and their stern yet kind-hearted father, Daiki, stepped off the transport at Konoha's gates. The sight of them immediately drew attention from curious villagers. Minato greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome to Konoha. We're thrilled to have you here." Ever the jovial figure, clapped Minato on the back with a hearty laugh. "It's good to see you again, Minato. Konoha looks just as lively as I remember." Samui's father, Daiki, shook Minato's hand firmly. "Thank you for hosting us. We appreciate the hospitality." As they entered the village, the cultural differences became apparent. Samui's family, accustomed to the bold and direct style of the Cloud Village, found themselves amidst Konoha's more subtle and nuanced ways. Daiki's imposing presence contrasted sharply with Konoha's more laid-back demeanor, leading to a few amusing misunderstandings. During a lunch at a local restaurant, Daiki, curious about the local cuisine, requested something strong and hearty. The server, interpreting his request literally, brought out a mountain of spicy dishes. Daiki, unaccustomed to the heat, took a bite and immediately turned red, trying to maintain his composure as he gulped down water. "This is certainly intense," Daiki managed, causing Samui to stifle a laugh as Minato tried to smooth over the situation with soothing words and a more neutral dish. Meanwhile, Karui and Samui's younger brother, Raijin, decided to explore the village's shops. They ended up in a clothing store where Karui's blunt comments about the local fashion led to a series of hilarious misunderstandings. She pointed out various traditional garments with a mix of curiosity and critique, leaving the shopkeeper both confused and amused. "Is this what you call fashionable?" Karui asked, holding up a brightly colored kimono. Raijin, trying to defend the local style, replied, "Well, it's unique to Konoha. Just like you have your Cloud Village attire." Their playful banter provided a much-needed break from the more serious aspects of their visit. In the evening, Minato and Samui hosted a dinner at their home. The gathering was meant to be a relaxing end to the day's events. The table was filled with dishes from both Konoha and the Cloud Village, creating a fusion of flavors that highlighted the blending of cultures. As everyone enjoyed the meal, Samui's family began to appreciate the nuances of Konoha's hospitality. Daiki, having recovered from the earlier spicy dishes, expressed his admiration for the effort put into the meal. "This is quite impressive," Daiki said, raising his cup in a toast. "You've done well, Minato." Minato smiled, relieved. "Thank you. I wanted to make sure you felt welcome." The evening continued with light-hearted stories and laughter. Shared anecdotes from his days as Raikage, while Minato recounted amusing incidents from his time as Hokage. The atmosphere was warm and filled with camaraderie. As the night came to a close, Samui and Minato took a moment to reflect on the day. The cultural clashes had been numerous, but they were balanced with moments of genuine connection and understanding. Minato and Samui had successfully navigated the complexities of family dynamics and village duties, and their bond with Samui's family had grown stronger. Standing outside under the starlit sky, Samui leaned against Minato's side. I'm glad everything went well. It was a challenge, but worth it. Minato kissed her forehead gently. It was. And seeing everyone getting along, despite the differences, made it all the more special. The visit had strengthened the ties between Konoha and the Cloud Village, creating new bonds and deepening existing ones. Minato and Samui had managed to balance their personal and village responsibilities, and the day's experiences had brought them closer together. Chapter 14, The Ultimate Prank. The peaceful routine in Konoha was abruptly disrupted by a mischievous scheme concocted by none other than Naruto and his friends. The idea, hatched during one of their brainstorming sessions, was simple yet brilliant: pull off the ultimate prank on Minato and Samui. The aim was to lighten the mood and create some unforgettable moments. Naruto, with his ever-present enthusiasm, gathered his allies, Sakura, Sai, and Shikamaru, for a clandestine meeting in their usual hideout. The planning session was filled with laughter and conspiratorial whispers as they discussed their plan. We need something epic, Naruto declared, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Something that'll make everyone laugh and remember this day. Sakura raised an eyebrow. We're talking about pranking the Hokage and his wife. Shouldn't we aim for something that's fun but not too over the top? Don't worry, Sai said with his usual calm demeanor. We'll make sure it's harmless but hilarious. The team worked out the details of their prank. Their plan involved a series of surprises designed to catch Minato and Samui off guard throughout the day. It was meticulously crafted to blend harmless mischief with humor, ensuring it would be memorable but not damaging. The day of the prank arrived, and Minato and Samui were blissfully unaware of the impending chaos. They started their day with their usual routine, unaware that their home and office were about to become the focal points of a well-orchestrated prank. The first part of the prank began at breakfast. As Minato and Samui sat down to enjoy their meal, they noticed something odd about their food. The pancakes were shaped like various animals, and the syrup had a peculiar, sparkling glow. Before they could react, a hidden speaker in the kitchen started playing upbeat, goofy music. Samui looked at Minato, trying to stifle her laughter. I think we're being pranked. Minato chuckled, shaking his head. I have a feeling I know who's behind this. Later in the day, as Minato and Samui walked to the Hokage's office, they were met with another surprise. The path was lined with colorful balloons and streamers that seemed to lead them on a winding route. Following the trail, they ended up at their office, where their desk drawers were filled with confetti, rubber spiders, and a note that read, "Congratulations. You've won the ultimate prank contest." Minato couldn't help but laugh. Well, they certainly went all out. As they cleaned up the confetti, Naruto and his friends appeared, barely containing their laughter. Sakura tried to look innocent, while Sai and Shikamaru exchanged amused glances. Looks like you found our little surprise, Naruto said with a grin. Hope it was as fun for you as it was for us planning it. Minato raised an eyebrow. You've certainly put a lot of effort into this. It's impressive. Samui smiled at Naruto and his friends. It's all in good fun, right? I have to admit, you've made our day much more entertaining. The group continued their playful banter as they helped clean up the remnants of the prank. Sakura and Sai joined in, sharing their own thoughts on the day's events and contributing to the jovial atmosphere. As the afternoon wore on, Minato and Samui decided to turn the prank into a light-hearted celebration. They invited Naruto and his friends to join them for a meal, where the group recounted the funniest moments of the prank and shared stories of past antics. During the dinner, Minato raised a toast to Naruto and his friends for reminding us of the importance of laughter and fun. You've certainly made our day unforgettable. Naruto grinned, taking a sip of his drink. Glad you enjoyed it. We'll keep our eyes open for any future pranks you might plan. Samui leaned against Minato, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Thanks for making today so special. It's nice to have moments like these where we can all relax and have fun. The evening ended with everyone in high spirits, sharing laughter and enjoying each other's company. The prank had succeeded in bringing everyone closer together, highlighting the bond between Minato, Samui, and their friends. As the night drew to a close, Minato and Samui reflected on the day's events. The chaos and laughter had strengthened their connections and provided a welcome break from their usual responsibilities. It was a reminder of the joy that friends and shared experiences could bring. Minato wrapped his arm around Samui, his smile reflecting the warmth of the day. Today was exactly what we needed. It's moments like these that make everything worthwhile. Samui nodded, her heart full. Absolutely. Here's to more laughter and unexpected joys. Chapter 15, Unexpected Guests. Konoha's serene atmosphere was disrupted one morning by the sudden arrival of unexpected guests. The peaceful village, usually accustomed to its routine, was thrown into a whirlwind of chaos as a group of travelers arrived with little warning. Minato and Samui were having breakfast and a flurry of activity erupted outside their home. The noise drew them to the window, where they saw a motley group of people unloading an assortment of peculiar items from several carts. Among them were three distinct figures, a flamboyant entertainer, a shifty-looking merchant, and an elderly sage carrying an ornate staff. Samui looked at Minato with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Who are they, and why are they causing such a commotion? Minato, equally puzzled, shrugged. Let's find out. We might need to manage this situation. The couple stepped outside to greet their unexpected visitors. The flamboyant entertainer, dressed in bright, sequined attire, immediately approached them with an exaggerated bow. Greetings, esteemed Hokage and honored guest. I am Jiro, the greatest performer of the wandering circus. He announced with flair. We've come to showcase our talents and bring joy to your village. Minato managed a polite smile. Welcome to Konoha. We appreciate the gesture, but we weren't aware of your arrival. Before Jiro could respond, the shifty merchant, who introduced himself as Taro, sidled up with a cart full of colorful trinkets and dubious-looking artifacts. Pardon the intrusion, Taro said with a sly grin. I'm here to offer my unique wares. You won't find such treasures anywhere else. Minato's expression grew more cautious. I see. And what brings you to our village? Taro shrugged nonchalantly. A little business, a little pleasure. You know how it is. The elderly sage, who was quietly observing, finally spoke. And I am Elder Rio, a humble seeker of wisdom. I've come to share ancient knowledge and seek enlightenment. The trio's diverse motives created a perplexing situation. Minato and Samui exchanged glances, realizing that they had to address each guest's needs while maintaining order in the village. Let's start with a proper introduction, Minato said, trying to manage the growing crowd that had gathered around the spectacle. Please follow us to the Hokage's office where we can discuss your visit in detail. Jiro, Taro, and Elder Rio complied, and the group moved towards the Hokage's office. Along the way, the circus performer began performing impromptu tricks, juggling flaming torches and creating a small crowd of fascinated children. Taro tried to peddle his wares to passers-by, while Elder Rio quietly observed the village with a contemplative expression. In the Hokage's office, Minato and Samui gathered with their uninvited guests. Minato began, let's address each of your purposes here so we can understand how to best accommodate you. Jiro enthusiastically laid out his plans for a grand performance, complete with acrobatics and magic tricks. Samui listened carefully, making mental notes of the logistical needs for such an event. Taro presented his collection of goods, emphasizing their supposed rarity and value. Samui had to manage her skepticism while sorting through the items, finding some practical and others more dubious. Elder Rio, meanwhile, sought to impart ancient wisdom through long-winded tales and cryptic advice. Minato tried to balance listening to the sage's philosophical musings with the practical needs of the village. The day turned into a whirlwind of activities. Jiro's performance required setting up a stage and arranging for safety measures, Taro's market stall needed to be managed to prevent a flood of curious villagers, and Elder Rio's lectures had to be scheduled in a way that didn't disrupt the village's routine. As the sun began to set, the circus performance was in full swing, drawing large crowds who marveled at the dazzling acts. Taro's market stall had attracted a modest but intrigued clientele, and Elder Rio's teachings had sparked interest among those seeking wisdom. Minato and Samui, though exhausted, watched the proceedings with a sense of accomplishment. The chaotic day had brought both challenges and opportunities. Their ability to handle the unexpected guests and their various needs had tested their patience and teamwork but ultimately strengthened their bond. As the day concluded, Minato and Samui took a moment to reflect. Despite the initial chaos, the village had benefited from the unique experiences brought by their guests. The performers had entertained the villagers, the merchants' wares had provided a bit of excitement, and the sage's wisdom had offered new perspectives. Samui leaned against Minato, her expression one of contentment. Today was certainly eventful. I'm glad we managed everything, though it was a bit more chaotic than we anticipated. Minato smiled, wrapping his arm around her. It was. But we handled it well together. And who knows? Maybe we've made some lasting impressions. As they walked home, they could hear the distant echoes of Jiro's final performance and see the glow of the lanterns from Taro's market stall. The unexpected guests had left their mark on Konoha, and Minato and Samui had navigated the day's challenges with grace and humor. Chapter 16, Romance Under the Stars. The evening in Konoha was serene, with a gentle breeze rustling through the trees and the sky painted in hues of deep blue and twilight purple. Minato and Samui, having weathered a series of unexpected events and challenges, decided it was time to unwind and reconnect. They sought solace in a quiet, secluded spot just outside the village, where the stars sparkled brightly against the dark canvas of the night sky. Minato had prepared a small picnic, complete with soft blankets, cushions, and a selection of their favorite foods. The setup was simple yet charming, offering a perfect backdrop for a romantic evening. As they arrived at the spot, Samui's eyes lit up at the sight of the cozy arrangement. "This is lovely, Minato," Samui said, her voice soft and filled with warmth. "I didn't expect this." Minato smiled, taking her hand. "I thought it would be nice for us to spend some time together away from the hustle and bustle. It's been a while since we had a peaceful night like this." They settled onto the blankets, enjoying the spread of food and the quiet of the night. The distant sounds of the village were a soothing background to their conversation. Minato poured 2 cups of tea, and they clinked them together in a small toast. "To us," Minato said, his gaze meeting Samui's. "To us," Samui echoed, her eyes reflecting the starlight. As they sipped their tea, the conversation flowed easily, and they shared stories and laughter. The recent events, the chaotic arrival of the unexpected guests, the various village challenges, and the adjustments they had been making, were discussed with humor and understanding. "I have to admit," Samui said, leaning back against the cushion, "I've missed moments like these. It's easy to get caught up in everything and forget to just enjoy each other's company." Minato nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I feel the same. It's important for us to take a step back sometimes and remember what's truly important." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, simply enjoying the night. The stars above seemed to shine even more brightly, as if reflecting the deep affection they had for each other. Minato reached out and took Samui's hand, intertwining their fingers. "I'm really glad we're here," Minato said softly. "I know things have been a bit hectic lately, but moments like this remind me of why we're together." Samui squeezed his hand, her eyes sparkling with emotion. "Me too. It's easy to forget how much we mean to each other when we're dealing with everything else. But tonight, it's just us, and that feels perfect. They both lay back on the blankets, gazing up at the stars. Minato pointed out constellations, sharing bits of lore and stories from his childhood about the night sky. Samui listened with interest, her head resting on his shoulder, feeling the comfort of his presence. As the night deepened, Minato and Samui grew quiet, wrapped in each other's arms. The peacefulness of the moment allowed them to reflect on their journey together. They spoke of their dreams for the future, their hopes, and the little things that made their relationship special. "I'm grateful for every moment we have together," Minato said quietly, his voice filled with sincerity. "You've brought so much joy and balance to my life." Samui looked up at him, her heart swelling with affection. "And you've been my rock. Even in the toughest times, knowing you're there makes everything better." They leaned in for a tender kiss, the night air carrying the sweetness of their shared love. It was a kiss that spoke of understanding, patience, and the deep bond they had forged. As they pulled away, Minato rested his forehead against Samui's, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. The stars continued to shine brightly, a perfect backdrop to their intimate moment. "Let's make a promise," Samui said softly. "No matter what challenges come our way, we'll always find time for moments like this." Minato smiled, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "I promise. These moments are what make everything worthwhile." The rest of the night passed in a tranquil embrace, with Minato and Samui wrapped in each other's arms, finding solace and joy under the vast, starry sky. It was a night that reaffirmed their love and reminded them of the simple, profound happiness they shared. Chapter 17, Unlikely Heroes. The peaceful routine in Konoha was disrupted by a sudden crisis. A rogue group of bandits had managed to infiltrate the outskirts of the village, causing chaos and threatening the safety of its inhabitants. Minato and Samui, as always, were on the front lines, working tirelessly to resolve the situation. But this time, they found themselves in need of unexpected help. While Minato coordinated the village's defense and Samui provided support with her Cloud Village techniques, they realized that they needed more hands on deck. What they didn't expect was the assistance that came from the most unlikely of sources. In a small corner of the village, Irika Yumino was holding a class for young ninja, teaching them the basics of strategy and teamwork. When news of the bandit attack reached them, the students were eager to help. Irika, though skeptical about the capabilities of his young pupils, decided to let them join the effort, hoping their enthusiasm might contribute in some way. Meanwhile, in another part of the village, the resident pranksters, Naruto, Sai, and Sakura, were engaged in their usual antics. They had just finished a prank involving an absurdly large amount of paint and a strategically placed set of traps. As the chaos from their prank unfolded, they heard about the bandit situation and, despite their mischief, decided to assist. Naruto burst into the Hokage's office, dripping with paint but full of determination. "Minato-sensei, we heard about the bandits. We're here to help." Minato looked up from his maps, momentarily taken aback by Naruto's appearance but quickly refocusing. "We could use all the help we can get. Just be careful and follow the plan." Naruto, Sai, and Sakura immediately set to work, though their methods were far from conventional. Naruto's enthusiasm led him to take the lead, rallying the young ninja and the prankster squad with a sense of urgency and excitement. Elsewhere, Irika's students, despite their limited experience, approached the situation with a surprising amount of courage. They formed makeshift teams, using their training to assist in various ways. Some carried supplies, others provided medical aid, and a few even helped with creating diversionary tactics to distract the bandits. The chaos that ensued was a blend of comic and effective. Naruto and his team, with their knack for causing trouble, managed to confuse the bandits with a series of well-timed pranks and illusions. They used smoke bombs, exploding paint, and even a few strategically placed rubber snakes to create a sense of pandemonium among the intruders. Irika's students, though inexperienced, showed surprising ingenuity. They constructed a rudimentary barricade using training equipment and improvised traps, effectively slowing down the bandits' advance. Their enthusiasm and determination made up for their lack of experience, turning the tide of the skirmish. Amid the confusion, Samui, initially unsure about the effectiveness of their unconventional allies, found herself impressed by their spirit. She worked alongside them, coordinating their efforts and making sure their actions were contributing to the overall strategy. Minato, overseeing the operations, was amazed at the way the young ninja and pranksters managed to turn the situation around. Their creativity and courage had made a significant impact, and the bandits, now thoroughly bewildered and disoriented, were quickly overwhelmed and forced to retreat. By the end of the skirmish, the bandits had been driven off, and the village was safe once more. The unconventional heroes, Naruto, Sai, Sakura, and Iruka's students, were celebrated for their unexpected but invaluable contributions. As the dust settled, Minato and Samui gathered the unlikely heroes together. Minato, still slightly paint-splattered, addressed them with a smile. "You've all done an incredible job. Your bravery and creativity made a big difference today." Naruto grinned, his paint-splattered face beaming with pride. "We couldn't just sit back and do nothing. We had to help." Iruka, looking both proud and exhausted, nodded. "You've all shown what it means to be a hero, even if it wasn't in the most traditional way." Samui added, "I'm grateful for your help. It was an unconventional but effective approach." "Thank you." The young ninja and pranksters beamed with pride at the praise. The day had been a testament to their bravery and creativity, proving that sometimes, the most unlikely heroes could make the biggest difference. As they all celebrated their success, the village returned to its peaceful routine, though with a newfound appreciation for the unexpected heroes who had stepped up in a time of need. Minato and Samui looked on, feeling a renewed sense of gratitude and affection for their community and its diverse, resourceful inhabitants. Chapter 18, The Great Cook-Off. The atmosphere in Konoha was abuzz with excitement as the village prepared for an event that had captured everyone's attention, the Great Cook-Off. The competition was an initiative started by Minato and Samui to bring some fun and community spirit to the village. The idea was simple: Minato and Samui would each prepare a meal, and the villagers would judge the results. What was meant to be a light-hearted event quickly became a showcase of their playful rivalry and their deepening bond. The village square was transformed into a makeshift kitchen, complete with cooking stations, ingredients, and enthusiastic onlookers. Banners fluttered in the breeze, and the smell of various dishes wafted through the air as preparations got underway. Minato and Samui, both wearing aprons and with chef hats perched atop their heads, stood at their respective cooking stations. Minato, ever the strategist, had meticulously planned his menu. He was determined to impress with his technical skills and precision. On the other side, Samui had embraced the challenge with her characteristic flair, ready to bring her own style to the competition. "Are you ready to be amazed, Samui?" Minato asked, his confidence evident as he adjusted his chef hat. Samui chuckled, tying her apron with a determined smile. "We'll see about that, Minato. I've got a few surprises up my sleeve." The competition began, and both cooks dove into their preparations. Minato focused on creating a sophisticated multi-course meal, starting with a delicate appetizer of fish sashimi, followed by a perfectly seasoned roast, and finishing with a decadent dessert. His approach was meticulous, each dish carefully crafted to showcase his culinary skills. Samui, meanwhile, took a more improvisational approach. She decided to prepare a fusion meal that combined traditional Cloud Village recipes with Konoha's flavors. Her menu included a hearty ramen dish with a unique twist, followed by a spicy curry, and a sweet, exotic fruit salad for dessert. Her cooking station was a whirlwind of activity, with ingredients being tossed and mixed in a flurry of motion. As the cooking progressed, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and playful banter. Minato and Samui frequently exchanged teasing remarks, their competitiveness adding a humorous edge to the event. "Careful there, Minato," Samui called out with a mischievous grin. "I don't want you burning anything. It wouldn't do for the Hokage's reputation to be tarnished by a scorched dish." Minato shot back with a smirk, "And I wouldn't want your cooking to be mistaken for an experimental dish from another dimension. Let's see if your flavors can stand up to the challenge." The crowd watched with amusement as Minato and Samui navigated their culinary endeavors. Naruto, Sai, and Sakura were among the eager spectators, their anticipation growing with each passing minute. Finally, the dishes were ready, and the judges, chosen from among the villagers, took their seats to sample the creations. The first course was Minato's fish sashimi, presented with meticulous care. The judges admired its presentation and relished the delicate flavors. Next, they sampled Samui's ramen, which was met with enthusiastic approval for its unique and satisfying taste. The curry, with its bold spices, received rave reviews, and the fruit salad was described as a refreshing end to a delightful meal. As the judges deliberated, Minato and Samui took a moment to relax and enjoy the results of their hard work. They shared a quiet laugh, their earlier competitive tension giving way to a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. The results were announced, and while it was a close contest, Samui emerged as the winner of the great cook-off. The crowd cheered, and Minato, though playfully disappointed, was the first to congratulate her. "Congratulations, Samui," Minato said, offering her a genuine smile. "You really outdid yourself. Your cooking is incredible." Samui returned his smile, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Thank you, Minato. I had a great time, and I couldn't have done it without your tough competition." The event ended on a high note, with Minato and Samui joining the villagers for a communal meal that included both of their dishes. The atmosphere was filled with laughter, camaraderie, and a sense of unity. As the sun set over Konoha, Minato and Samui walked back to their home, their hands intertwined. The great cook-off had not only brought out their playful side but also deepened their bond, showcasing their compatibility and the joy they found in each other's company. Their shared laughter and the warmth of the evening were a reminder of the simple pleasures that made their life together special. It was a night that celebrated their love, their playful rivalry, and their ability to find joy in every moment they shared. Chapter 19, The Kidnapping Plot. The peaceful ambience of Konoha was abruptly disturbed when rumors began circulating about a kidnapping plot. The source of the commotion was a trio of bumbling villains who had arrived in the village with grand, yet hilariously flawed, schemes to capture Minato and Samui. It all began one sunny afternoon when Minato and Samui were enjoying a rare moment of relaxation in the village square. They were seated on a bench, sharing a plate of dango, when they noticed a peculiar group of characters lurking nearby. Clad in dark cloaks that were far too large for their diminutive frames and sporting exaggeratedly large hats, the trio seemed out of place and slightly ridiculous. "I think we've got some unusual visitors," Samui observed, eyeing the trio with a mix of amusement and curiosity. Minato squinted in their direction, his sensei instincts kicking in. "They seem like they might be up to something. Let's keep an eye on them." The trio, who introduced themselves as the Shadow Scoundrels, had concocted an elaborate plan to kidnap Minato and Samui. Their goal was to hold them for ransom, demanding a ludicrous sum of money and a large quantity of ramen from the village. However, their execution of the plan was as flawed as their disguises. Their first attempt involved a poorly executed distraction involving a fake, dangerous animal, an inflatable bear, set loose in the village. The plan backfired when the bear, caught in a gust of wind, floated harmlessly away, much to the amusement of the villagers. Minato and Samui watched as the bear bobbed through the air, realizing that the plot was more comedic than menacing. The second attempt was even more absurd. The Shadow Scoundrels attempted to sneak into Minato's office disguised as maintenance workers. Their disguises included oversized tools and comically fake mustaches. Their entrance was marked by loud clanging noises and a series of clumsy mishaps that drew the attention of everyone in the building. Inside, the shadow scoundrels struggled to carry out their plan. One of them, named Jinko, was accidentally trapped in a roll of duct tape, while another, Taro, managed to trip over a stack of papers, causing a small avalanche of documents to tumble down. Minato and Samui, observing from a nearby room, couldn't help but chuckle at the chaotic scene unfolding. Samui nudged Minato with a playful grin. "Should we step in, or let them continue their performance?" Minato laughed. "Let's have a bit of fun with this." They decided to play along, allowing the villains to continue their bumbling efforts. When the shadow scoundrels finally captured Minato and Samui in a dramatic showdown, they found themselves facing a series of pranks that Minato and Samui had set up in advance. As the villains attempted to restrain Minato and Samui, they were met with a series of harmless, but thoroughly comedic, traps. From confetti explosions to harmlessly exploding balloons, the traps created a scene of delightful chaos. The climax of their plot came when the villains, attempting to make a grand escape, accidentally stumbled into the village's annual pie-eating contest. Covered in pie filling and surrounded by puzzled villagers, the shadow scoundrels finally realized the futility of their plot. Minato and Samui, who had been watching with amusement from a safe distance, approached the flustered villains. Minato offered them a friendly smile. "I think you've had enough excitement for one day. How about we call it quits and enjoy some of these pies instead?" The villains, now thoroughly embarrassed and defeated, could only nod in agreement. They were given a few slices of pie as a token of goodwill, and the village embraced them with good-natured laughter. As the sun set, Minato and Samui walked through the village, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the evening. The day's events had not only tested their abilities but also strengthened their bond. They had faced the plot with a sense of humor and teamwork, reinforcing their deep connection. "I have to say," Samui remarked as they strolled hand in hand, "that was one of the most entertaining days we've had in a while." Minato grinned. "Absolutely. Sometimes, the best way to handle a crisis is with a bit of humor and a lot of teamwork." The light-hearted kidnapping plot had turned into a memorable adventure, reminding them both of the joy and strength found in facing challenges together. The village returned to its peaceful routine, with Minato and Samui's bond strengthened by the day's unexpected, yet enjoyable, turn of events. Chapter 20, Miscommunication. The village of Konoha was bustling with activity as Minato and Samui prepared for a significant event, the annual Konoha Festival, a grand celebration with numerous festivities and communal activities. The festival was a time for the villagers to come together and enjoy themselves, and this year, Minato and Samui were excited to participate in the preparations and festivities. However, a major plot twist was about to unfold, all thanks to a series of humorous miscommunications between the couple. It started when Minato, who had been handling several important tasks related to the festival, received a message from Samui. She had sent him a note asking for his input on a special performance she was organizing for the festival. The note mentioned a surprise she had planned and requested Minato to meet her in the village square to discuss it. Unfortunately, Minato was in the middle of an intense meeting with the village council and, being somewhat distracted, misinterpreted the note. He thought that the surprise was related to a top-secret security measure he needed to address immediately. Assuming the worst, he rushed to the village square, prepared for an urgent security briefing. Samui, on the other hand, was busy coordinating with the performers and setting up decorations. She was excited about the surprise, a special romantic performance she had planned for Minato, which included a dance and a heartfelt speech. She was looking forward to sharing this moment with him and had carefully arranged every detail. When Minato arrived in the village square, he found it bustling with activity. The square was decorated with lanterns, flowers, and colorful banners, creating a festive atmosphere. Samui was at the center of it all, looking radiant and enthusiastic. Samui. Minato called out, his face set in serious determination. I'm here. What's this urgent matter you needed to discuss? Samui looked puzzled. Urgent matter? I just wanted to discuss the surprise performance for the festival. The misunderstanding began to unfold as Minato's anxiety grew. He misinterpreted Samui's excitement as part of a larger, potentially dangerous plan. You're planning something big, aren't you? We need to make sure everything is secure. Have you checked for any possible threats? Samui's confusion deepened. No, Minato, it's a performance. There's no threat. It's supposed to be a romantic surprise for you. Minato's eyes widened. Romantic surprise? Wait, so this isn't about security? No. Samui said, trying to hold back a laugh. It's just a performance to celebrate our love and the festival. As the realization dawned on Minato, he began to relax. He looked around at the decorations and the eager faces of the performers. He felt a mix of relief and embarrassment. Oh. I see now. I completely misunderstood. I'm so sorry for the mix-up. Samui chuckled, reaching out to take his hand. It's alright, Minato. Let's just focus on enjoying the performance and celebrating together. The performance began, and Minato was swept up in the romantic and heartfelt display. The performers danced gracefully, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and affection. Samui's heartfelt speech about their journey together and her love for Minato was met with a warm round of applause from the audience. As the performance concluded, Minato and Samui shared a tender moment under the twinkling lanterns. Minato took Samui's hand and looked into her eyes, a sincere smile on his face. I'm sorry for the confusion earlier, Minato said softly. I should have known better. This is perfect, Samui. Thank you for planning such a beautiful surprise. Samui returned his smile, her eyes shining with love. It's all right. Sometimes, misunderstandings happen. What matters is that we're here together, celebrating our love and the festival with everyone. The evening continued with laughter, dancing, and festivities. The festival was a huge success, and Minato and Samui enjoyed the celebration to the fullest. The humorous miscommunication had turned into a memorable moment, reinforcing their bond and adding a touch of romance to the festival. As they walked hand in hand through the village, surrounded by the joyful atmosphere of the festival, Minato and Samui felt a renewed sense of connection and happiness. The twist in their plans had led to an unforgettable celebration, reminding them both of the importance of love, understanding, and shared joy. Chapter 21, A Rift in the Clouds. The tranquil days in Konoha took an unexpected turn when Samui's past resurfaced, causing a temporary rift between her and Minato. The incident began with a sudden visit from an old acquaintance of Samui's, a former colleague from the Cloud Village named Raijin. Raijin's arrival in Konoha was marked by a series of unfortunate events. His overly dramatic entrance, complete with a thunderous arrival and a booming voice, drew the attention of everyone in the village. Samui, who had been enjoying a peaceful afternoon at the market with Minato, was caught off guard by his sudden appearance. Samui! Raijin called out, his voice echoing through the marketplace. It's been too long. Samui turned, her expression a mix of surprise and concern. Raijin? What are you doing here? Raijin's grand gestures and enthusiastic demeanor made it clear that he was eager to reconnect with Samui. However, Minato noticed an awkward tension between them that he couldn't quite place. He tried to maintain his composure, but his curiosity was piqued. As the days passed, Raijin's presence in the village seemed to cause more confusion and tension. His stories of past exploits and his tendency to reminisce about the old days created an air of nostalgia for Samui, but also brought up unresolved issues from her past. One evening, while Minato and Samui were having dinner together, Samui seemed unusually quiet. Minato, sensing that something was amiss, decided to address the issue directly. Samui, is everything alright? Minato asked gently. You've been a bit distant lately. Samui sighed, setting down her chopsticks. It's just, seeing Raijin again has brought back some memories I wasn't expecting. There are things from my past that I haven't fully dealt with. Minato reached across the table, taking Samui's hand in his. If you want to talk about it, I'm here to listen. Whatever it is, we can face it together. Samui looked into Minato's eyes, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. Raijin was a close friend from my time in the Cloud Village. We went through a lot together, and seeing him again reminded me of the challenges we faced. There were also complications in our relationship that I thought were resolved. Minato nodded, understanding the weight of her words. It sounds like there's a lot to unpack. How about we talk things through, and maybe we can find a way to resolve these old issues. The conversation continued, with Minato providing support and understanding as Samui shared her feelings and memories. She explained that Raijin's visit had stirred up old emotions and uncertainties about her past, leading to the rift between them. The next day, Minato decided to take a more proactive approach to help Samui resolve her feelings. He invited Raijin for a casual outing, hoping to clear the air and address any lingering tensions. The meeting took place at a local cafe, where Minato and Raijin enjoyed some tea while Samui joined them. The conversation started with light-hearted topics, but eventually, Minato steered it towards the more serious matters. Raijin, it seems that your visit has brought up some unresolved issues for Samui, Minato began. I think it's important that we address these together. Raijin looked thoughtful for a moment before nodding. I understand. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I just wanted to reconnect and share old memories. Samui took a deep breath, feeling the support from both Minato and Raijin. It's not about causing trouble. It's about coming to terms with our past and moving forward. As the conversation unfolded, there were moments of humor and heartfelt exchange. Raijin shared some funny anecdotes from their past, which helped lighten the mood and remind Samui of the positive aspects of their history. By the end of the meeting, the rift between Samui and Minato had begun to heal. Samui expressed her gratitude to Minato for his patience and support, and Raijin promised to respect Samui's need for space while still being a friend. The resolution came with a sense of renewed understanding and closeness between Minato and Samui. They were able to embrace their past and move forward with their relationship strengthened. As they walked hand in hand through the village, Minato and Samui felt a deeper connection, knowing that they had faced and overcome a challenge together. The experience had brought them closer, reinforcing their bond and reminding them of the strength of their love. Chapter 22, The Hidden Agenda. The peace between Konoha and the Cloud Village was a fragile but crucial element in the stability of the region. Minato and Samui had worked hard to maintain this harmony, but recent developments suggested that not everyone was happy with the current state of affairs. Whispers of a hidden agenda started to circulate, threatening to unravel the hard-won peace. It all began when a series of mysterious incidents occurred around Konoha. First, there were reports of strange, shadowy figures seen near the village's borders. Then, vital supplies went missing from the storage facilities, and there were odd disturbances in the forests surrounding the village. While these events seemed minor on their own, together they painted a troubling picture of possible sabotage. Minato and Samui decided to investigate the situation personally. One evening, they met in the Hokage's office, where Minato was reviewing the latest reports. Minato, these incidents can't be a coincidence, Samui said, her brow furrowed with concern. There's something bigger going on. I agree, Minato replied, looking over a map of the village. We need to find out who's behind this before it escalates any further. As they discussed possible leads, a knock on the door interrupted them. It was Kaito, who had been acting as a liaison between Konoha and the Cloud Village. He entered with a worried expression. Minato, Samui, Kaito began, I've come across some troubling information. It seems that there are factions within the Cloud Village who might not be as committed to the peace agreement as we thought. Samui's eyes widened. Are you saying that someone in the Cloud Village is plotting against us? It's possible, Kaido confirmed. I've received anonymous messages suggesting that there's a group trying to undermine the alliance for their own gain. They believe that causing discord between our villages will allow them to increase their own influence. Minato's jaw tightened. We can't let this happen. We need to uncover the source of these threats and deal with it swiftly. With their mission set, Minato and Samui decided to investigate the disturbances and follow up on Kaido's lead. They began by visiting the sites of the recent incidents, looking for any clues that might reveal the culprits behind the hidden agenda. Their investigation led them to a series of hidden meetings held in the forest. Using their stealth skills, they observed the gatherings from a distance. They discovered that the meetings were organized by a group of discontented shinobi from both Konoha and the Cloud Village who were plotting to create conflict for their own benefit. The leaders of this faction were two individuals Minato and Samui had never met before, a rogue shinobi named Daisuke and a disgruntled former Cloud Village operative named Yumi. Their plan involved creating chaos and sowing distrust between the two villages to further their own agendas. Minato and Samui decided to confront them directly. They arranged a secret meeting with Daisuke and Yumi, hoping to negotiate and prevent any further escalation. In the heart of the forest, Minato and Samui met with the rogue leaders. The confrontation began with tense exchanges, but Minato's calm demeanor and Samui's diplomatic approach soon turned the conversation towards finding a resolution. Daisuke, Yumi, we know about your plans, Minato said firmly. We understand that you're unhappy with the current state of affairs, but creating conflict is not the answer. We need to address your concerns openly and work towards a solution. Daisuke sneered, you think you can just talk us down? We have our own reasons for wanting change, and they're not being heard. Samui stepped forward, her voice steady. Everyone deserves to be heard, but causing discord and chaos will only hurt the people. We can work together to address your concerns, but it requires cooperation, not conflict. The discussion continued with Minato and Samui presenting their case and offering solutions to address the underlying issues. Over time, the rogue leaders began to see the merit in their arguments. Daisuke and Yumi reluctantly agreed to cease their disruptive activities, provided their grievances were taken seriously. With the immediate threat resolved, Minato and Samui returned to the village, relieved but aware that maintaining peace required constant vigilance. They reported their findings to Kaido and other village officials, ensuring that measures were put in place to prevent similar issues in the future. That evening, as Minato and Samui walked through the village, they reflected on the challenges they had faced. Their teamwork had not only uncovered and addressed the hidden agenda but had also strengthened their bond. This was a tough situation, Samui said, leaning into Minato's side. But we handled it together. Minato smiled, placing a comforting arm around her. We did. And as long as we stick together, we can face anything that comes our way. Under the stars, with the village peaceful once more, Minato and Samui felt a renewed sense of unity and strength. They knew that their love and partnership would be the foundation upon which they would build a lasting peace. Chapter 23, The Festival of Lights. The Festival of Lights was an annual celebration in Konoha, known for its vibrant decorations, lively activities, and communal spirit. This year's festival was particularly special, as it also marked the first major event for Minato and Samui as a couple leading the village together. Excitement buzzed through the air as preparations for the festival got underway. As the festival approached, Minato and Samui found themselves immersed in the preparations. The village square was adorned with colorful lanterns, shimmering lights, and festive banners. Food stalls and entertainment booths sprang up, promising a night of joy and celebration. One afternoon, Minato and Samui were walking through the village, checking on the progress of the festival preparations. Samui, with her keen eye for detail, was making sure everything was in place. "Minato, I think the lanterns on the north side need to be adjusted," Samui said, pointing towards a group of villagers struggling with the decorations. "They don't look quite right." Minato chuckled, "You've got a sharp eye. Let's go help them out." Together, they approached the villagers, offering assistance and adjusting the lanterns until they were perfectly aligned. The villagers appreciated their hands-on involvement and admired how the couple worked together seamlessly. As the festival began that evening, the village square was transformed into a magical wonderland of light and color. Lanterns floated above the crowd, casting a warm, enchanting glow. Laughter and music filled the air, creating an atmosphere of pure joy. Minato and Samui walked hand in hand through the bustling square, their presence drawing smiles and admiration from the villagers. The festival featured various activities, including traditional dances, games, and a spectacular fireworks display. One of the highlights of the evening was a booth where villagers could write their wishes on lanterns and release them into the sky. Minato and Samui decided to participate, writing their own wishes for the future on delicate paper lanterns. "What are you wishing for?" Samui asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Minato smiled, "I'm wishing for continued peace and happiness for our village and for us." "What about you?" "I'm wishing for the same," Samui replied, her voice soft. "And for more moments like these where we can share our joy with others." They released their lanterns into the sky, watching as they floated upwards, joining countless others in a breathtaking display of hope and light. The scene was magical, and the couple felt a deep sense of connection and contentment. Later in the evening, the festival featured a series of humorous and light-hearted events. Naruto and his friends had organized a talent show, where the village shinobi showcased their unique skills in amusing and unexpected ways. Naruto, dressed as a flamboyant performer, attempted a dramatic dance routine that ended in a series of comical missteps and slips. His performance had the entire crowd roaring with laughter. Samui, standing beside Minato, couldn't help but join in the laughter, her eyes sparkling with amusement. "Looks like Naruto's really embracing his inner performer," Minato said with a grin. Samui laughed, "He certainly knows how to entertain." As the night progressed, Minato and Samui participated in a couples game that involved answering questions about each other and performing silly challenges. The game was designed to test how well couples knew each other and provided plenty of opportunities for laughter and playful teasing. When it was their turn, Minato and Samui faced off against each other in a series of amusing challenges. They had to guess each other's favorite foods, perform silly dances, and answer questions about their relationship. Their playful competitiveness and genuine affection for each other shone through, making their performance a crowd favorite. The festival culminated with a grand fireworks display. Minato and Samui stood together, watching the colorful explosions light up the night sky. The vibrant colors reflected in their eyes, and they shared a quiet moment of appreciation for the beauty of the evening. As the last firework faded, Minato turned to Samui, his expression filled with warmth. "Tonight was amazing. I'm so glad we could share this with everyone." Samui smiled, leaning her head against his shoulder. "Me too. It's moments like these that make everything worthwhile." The Festival of Lights had been a resounding success, not only in celebrating the village's unity but also in highlighting Minato and Samui's love and leadership. Their participation and dedication had brought a special touch to the event, leaving a lasting impression on everyone. As the festival came to a close and the villagers began to head home, Minato and Samui walked together, their hearts full of joy and gratitude. They knew that their journey together was filled with both challenges and triumphs, but nights like this reminded them of the strength of their bond and the happiness they found in each other's company. Chapter 24, The Training Arc. The sun was barely peeking over the horizon as Konoha's training grounds came alive with the sounds of morning exercises. Today, however, the usual routine was infused with a new twist. Samui, recently settled in Konoha, was about to embark on a training arc with the village's shinobi. Her goal was to integrate more seamlessly into village life and improve her skills alongside the Konoha ninjas. Samui, dressed in her new Konoha training gear, stood at the edge of the training field, eyeing the various groups of shinobi practicing their techniques. Minato, who had promised to help her get started, was already there, chatting with Kakashi and the rest of the team. "Good morning, everyone," Samui greeted them with a confident smile. "I'm ready to dive into today's training." Naruto, who had just finished a grueling session of shadow clone jutsu, bounded over with his usual exuberance. "Hey, Samui. Ready for some serious training?" Samui chuckled, "Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what Konoha's training is all about." Minato smiled and gestured towards a group of ninjas. "Today's focus will be on a mix of technique drills and teamwork exercises. We'll start with basic drills and then move on to some more advanced techniques." As the training began, Samui found herself paired up with Sakura, who was eager to show her the ropes. They started with a series of basic taijutsu drills. Sakura, showing off her strength, executed powerful punches and kicks, while Samui demonstrated her agility and precision. "Nice moves, Samui," Sakura called out, sweat glistening on her forehead. "You're picking this up fast." "Thanks," Samui replied, her own breath coming in steady bursts. "I've had some good training back in the Cloud Village, but this is definitely a new experience." Next came the teamwork exercises. Samui was paired with Naruto, who, despite his enthusiasm, sometimes had a tendency to charge headfirst into situations. They were assigned to practice a combined technique that required precise coordination. Naruto grinned, "Let's show them how it's done." The exercise involved creating a coordinated attack where Naruto's shadow clones would distract the opponent while Samui used her lightning jutsu for a decisive strike. However, Naruto's usual exuberance led to a few mishaps. "Oops, that wasn't supposed to happen," Naruto exclaimed as his clones accidentally created more chaos than intended. Samui laughed, "I think we might need to work on our timing a bit." Despite the minor setbacks, Samui and Naruto eventually got the hang of it, much to everyone's amusement. The training session was filled with light-hearted banter and occasional bursts of laughter as Samui integrated into the team's dynamics. In the afternoon, the training shifted to more advanced techniques. Samui was introduced to some of Konoha's unique jutsu, including the various forms of chakra manipulation and elemental techniques. The challenge of adapting to these new techniques brought out a playful competitive spirit in her. Minato observed from the sidelines, pleased with how well Samui was adjusting. "You're doing great, Samui," he said, joining her after the session. "It's impressive to see how quickly you're picking up on everything." Samui wiped the sweat from her brow and smiled. "Thanks, Minato. Everyone here has been incredibly supportive. It's been a lot of fun." As the day drew to a close, the shinobi gathered for a well-deserved break. The training had been intense but rewarding, and Samui felt a sense of accomplishment. She had not only improved her skills but also forged stronger bonds with the villagers. Naruto, ever the enthusiastic one, clapped Samui on the back. "You did awesome today. We should definitely train together more often." Samui grinned, "I'd like that. It's been great getting to know everyone and seeing how Konoha trains." Minato joined them, holding out a basket of refreshments. "How about we celebrate with some snacks? You all earned it." As they enjoyed the refreshments and shared stories of the day's events, Samui felt a deep sense of belonging. The training arc had not only been an opportunity for growth but also a chance to become more integrated into Konoha's community. The camaraderie and support she experienced reassured her that she was truly becoming a part of the village. The sun set over the village, casting a warm glow over the training grounds. Samui, surrounded by her new friends and teammates, felt a profound sense of satisfaction. The day had been a testament to her growth and the strength of the bond she was forming in her new home. Chapter 25, love and laughter. The tranquility of Konoha was frequently interrupted by the usual buzz of village life, but lately, the peace had been under threat. External pressures from rival villages and the strain of maintaining the village's stability had begun to weigh heavily on Minato and Samui. Despite these challenges, the couple's love and humor remained a constant source of strength and joy. One morning, Minato and Samui were enjoying a rare moment of peace at home, sipping tea and discussing their plans for the day. Minato, looking over some documents, seemed lost in thought. "You seem preoccupied," Samui observed, her tone gentle as she poured another cup of tea. "What's on your mind?" Minato sighed and set aside the papers. "It's just some issues with the neighboring villages. There's been talk of possible conflicts, and it's putting a lot of pressure on me." Samui reached across the table, taking Minato's hand in hers. "I know it's tough, but we'll get through this. We always do." Minato smiled, grateful for her support. "You're right. Your encouragement always helps." Just then, Naruto burst through the door, his usual energetic self. "Hey, Minato. Samui. Guess what? I've got a new prank idea." Samui chuckled, "Another one? What's the plan this time?" Naruto's eyes twinkled mischievously. "Well, I was thinking of using some of those old fireworks from the festival, but with a twist. We'll make it look like the Hokage's office is under attack." Minato raised an eyebrow, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "That sounds like trouble waiting to happen. Are you sure it's a good idea?" "Absolutely." Naruto replied with enthusiasm. "It'll be fun." Samui laughed, her eyes dancing with amusement. "It might be just what we need to lighten the mood." That afternoon, Naruto's prank was set into motion. The plan involved setting up fireworks and using shadow clones to create a chaotic but harmless attack on Minato's office. The result was a spectacular display of fireworks and confusion as the village shinobi scrambled to defend the Hokage's office. Minato, Samui, and Naruto watched from a distance, unable to contain their laughter as the scene unfolded. The fireworks burst in brilliant colors, and the exaggerated reactions of the villagers added to the comedy. "This is definitely one way to relieve some stress," Minato said, grinning at Samui. Samui squeezed his hand and laughed. "It's nice to see everyone having fun. Naruto, you've outdone yourself this time." Naruto beamed, clearly pleased with the reaction. "Thanks. I thought a bit of chaos would help everyone unwind." The prank was a hit, and the laughter it generated was a welcome distraction from the ongoing pressures. For the rest of the day, Minato and Samui found themselves enjoying more light-hearted moments with their friends and the villagers. As evening approached, Minato and Samui took a quiet walk through the village. The day's events had been a much-needed break from their usual worries, and they relished the chance to be together without the weight of their responsibilities. "I need it today," Samui said softly, her arm linked with Minato's. "It's good to laugh and be reminded of what we have." Minato nodded, his gaze warm. "Me too. It's easy to get caught up in the pressures, but moments like these remind me of what really matters." They reached a quiet spot overlooking the village, where the evening sky was painted with hues of orange and pink. The sight was serene and beautiful, a stark contrast to the day's chaos. Minato turned to Samui, his expression tender. "Thank you for being my anchor. Your humor and love make everything easier." Samui smiled, leaning closer. "And thank you for always being there for me. We make a great team." As they stood together, enjoying the peaceful view, the challenges of the day seemed distant. Their love, bolstered by humor and affection, proved to be a powerful force against the pressures they faced. The shared laughter and support had strengthened their bond, making them even more resilient in the face of adversity. As night fell over Konoha, Minato and Samui knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Their love, full of laughter and joy, was their greatest strength, and it would help them overcome any obstacles in their path. Chapter 26, A Joyous Announcement. The atmosphere in Konoha was abuzz with excitement. The village square had been decorated with colorful banners and festive lights. A clear indication that something special was about to happen. Minato and Samui had invited their closest friends and fellow villagers for what they described as a celebration, but they had kept the exact reason for the gathering a secret. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the village, Minato and Samui stood at the front of the stage set up in the square. The crowd, eager and curious, chatted amongst themselves, speculating about the big announcement. Minato took a deep breath and smiled at Samui, who was equally radiant. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice carrying over the gathered crowd. "We have something very special to share with you." The crowd grew silent, anticipation palpable. Samui took Minato's hand, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We've been keeping a secret, and now we're thrilled to finally share it with all of you." Minato looked at Samui with a loving grin. "We're going to have a baby." The announcement was met with a moment of stunned silence before the crowd erupted into cheers and applause. Gasps of surprise and excitement mingled with joyous laughter. Naruto, who had been eagerly awaiting the announcement, jumped up and down, shouting, "That's awesome! Congratulations, you two!" Kakashi, ever the cool and collected figure, managed to crack a rare smile. "Well, that's certainly a piece of good news. Looks like you'll have your hands full, Minato." Sakura, standing nearby, hugged Samui with genuine enthusiasm. "Oh my gosh, Samui, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you both." The celebration began in earnest as the villagers joined in the festivities. Music played, and food stalls lined the streets, offering treats and refreshments. There were games, laughter, and heartfelt well wishes as the community came together to celebrate the couple's joyous news. As the evening progressed, Minato and Samui took the time to mingle with their friends and villagers. Samui's family, who had been informed of the news earlier, had traveled to Konoha for the celebration. They joined in the festivities, adding their own excitement and support. Naruto, ever the prankster, couldn't resist adding his own touch to the celebration. He had organized a series of humorous games and activities, including a Guess the Baby's Name contest and a Baby Predictions booth where villagers could guess the baby's future career, abilities, and more. The playful competition brought even more laughter to the evening. As the night wore on, Minato and Samui found a quiet moment away from the festivities. They stood together under a starry sky, the lights of the celebration reflecting in their eyes. Minato wrapped his arm around Samui, pulling her close. "I can't believe how lucky we are. This is such a special moment." Samui leaned against him, her heart full. "I've never felt happier. Thank you for sharing this with everyone and making it so memorable." Minato kissed the top of her head. "It's been a wonderful day, and I'm so glad we could celebrate it with the people we care about." As they looked out at the village, illuminated by the lights and filled with laughter, they felt a profound sense of joy and contentment. The support and love from their friends and the villagers had made the announcement even more special. The celebration continued into the night, filled with music, dancing, and heartfelt conversations. The village's happiness was evident, and Minato and Samui basked in the warmth of their shared joy. The future was looking bright, and they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them with the same love and strength that had brought them to this moment. With the stars shining overhead and the sounds of celebration all around, Minato and Samui embraced their joyous announcement, cherishing the love and support of their community as they looked forward to the new chapter in their lives. Chapter 27, The Final Battle. The village of Konoha was braced for what would be the most critical battle of Minato and Samui's tenure as Hokage and his wife. The tension in the air was palpable, and the atmosphere was charged with a mix of fear and determination. The enemy had assembled a formidable force. threatening the peace that Minato and Samui had worked so hard to maintain. Minato stood at the front lines, his expression serious as he scanned the battlefield. Beside him, Samui was ready and determined, her usual calm demeanor replaced by a steely resolve. They had faced many challenges together, but this was the ultimate test of their strength and unity. The enemy, led by a rogue shinobi with a personal vendetta against Konoha, had gathered at the outskirts of the village. Their plan was to overwhelm the defenses and strike at the heart of the village, but Minato and Samui were prepared to stop them. "Remember, we need to protect the village and our friends," Minato said, turning to Samui. "We've trained for this. Let's show them what we're made of." Samui nodded, her eyes sharp and focused. "We'll handle this together. Let's give them a fight they won't forget." The battle began with a clash of steel and jutsu as the two sides collided. Minato and Samui fought with precision and skill, their movements a testament to their years of training and experience. They worked seamlessly together, their coordination a critical factor in holding back the enemy forces. Naruto and the other Konoha ninjas were also in action, their efforts bolstered by the leadership and bravery of Minato and Samui. The villagers rallied behind them, their determination to protect their home fueling their every move. As the battle raged on, Minato and Samui found themselves facing the leader of the rogue shinobi. The enemy leader, a formidable opponent with a deep grudge against Konoha, unleashed a barrage of powerful attacks, each one aimed at breaking their defenses. Minato countered with his signature teleportation techniques, appearing and reappearing in different locations to avoid the enemy's strikes. His speed and agility were unmatched, but he knew that he couldn't keep this up forever. He needed to find a way to end the battle decisively. Samui, using her lightning techniques, created a series of electrifying barriers to protect Minato and the other ninjas from the enemy's relentless assault. Her focus and power were evident as she kept the enemy at bay, her presence a reassuring force amidst the chaos. The enemy leader, growing frustrated, decided to target Minato directly, aiming a massive attack at him. Minato was momentarily caught off guard, but Samui acted quickly, using her skills to intercept the attack and protect her husband. "Minato, behind you!" Samui shouted, her voice filled with urgency. Minato turned just in time to see the attack coming, and with Samui's assistance, he managed to dodge it and regroup. The two exchanged a brief, determined glance, their bond and trust evident in that moment. "We need to end this now," Minato said, his voice resolute. "I'll create an opening. Be ready." Samui nodded, understanding the plan. Minato activated his Rasengan, channeling all his energy into a powerful, concentrated attack. As he charged forward, Samui supported him with a series of lightning-infused strikes, weakening the enemy leader's defenses. The combined assault was devastating. Minato's Rasengan, enhanced by Samui's lightning, hit the enemy leader with overwhelming force. The rogue shinobi's leader was thrown back, his defenses shattered by the coordinated attack. With their leader defeated, the remaining enemy forces began to retreat, their morale broken. The tide of the battle shifted in Konoha's favor, and the ninjas and villagers fought with renewed vigor. As the battle drew to a close, Minato and Samui stood together, surveying the aftermath. The village had held its ground, and their combined efforts had ensured the safety of their home. Naruto and the other ninjas approached, their expressions a mix of relief and exhaustion. "You two were incredible," Naruto said, his voice filled with admiration. "We couldn't have done it without you." Minato and Samui shared a tired but triumphant smile. "We all fought together," Minato replied. "It was a team effort." Samui took Minato's hand, her grip firm and supportive. "We've faced a lot together, but today showed us just how strong we are when we stand united." As they walked back to the village, the weight of the battle lifted, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and relief. The village would recover and rebuild, stronger than before. Minato and Samui's love and teamwork had proven crucial in the final battle, solidifying their bond and their commitment to their home. In the quiet moments that followed, as the village began to settle back into its routine, Minato and Samui found solace in each other's company. The challenges they had faced had only strengthened their relationship, and they knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, with love and resilience. Chapter 28, Healing Wounds. The village of Konoha, though victorious, was left with the scars of battle. The aftermath was a testament to the fierce struggle they had endured. As the sun rose on a new day, the village's streets were filled with the bustle of rebuilding and recovery. The once battered buildings were now being repaired, and the villagers worked together to restore their home. Amidst the reconstruction efforts, Minato and Samui took time to address the physical and emotional wounds left by the conflict. The battle had taken its toll on them both, and they understood the importance of healing, not just for themselves, but for their entire village. Minato stood beside Samui at the edge of the village, looking out over the progress being made. His face was a mix of fatigue and determination. "We've come a long way," he said, his voice steady but tired. "It's hard to see the damage, but seeing everyone come together like this makes me proud." Samui placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, her touch gentle and reassuring. "We've faced many challenges, but we're strong together. The village will heal, and so will we." As they walked through the village, Minato and Samui visited the medical tent where injured villagers were being treated. The sight of the wounded and the weary soldiers tugged at their hearts. Despite the exhaustion, Minato took the time to offer words of encouragement to those recovering. His presence provided a sense of hope and solidarity. Samui, with her experience as a skilled ninja, helped where she could, offering assistance to the medical teams and providing support to those in need. Her calm demeanor and supportive nature were a balm to those who had endured the horrors of battle. In the quieter moments between their duties, Minato and Samui found solace in their private time together. They retreated to their home, a sanctuary amidst the chaos. The familiar surroundings offered them comfort as they began the process of healing, both physically and emotionally. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Minato and Samui sat together in their garden. The peaceful setting was a stark contrast to the turmoil they had faced. Minato turned to Samui, his expression softening. "I've been thinking about everything we've been through. It's been tough, but having you by my side has made all the difference." Samui leaned into him, her head resting on his shoulder. "We've faced so much, and we've grown stronger because of it. Our love has been a guiding light through all of this." They sat in silence, their hands intertwined, finding comfort in each other's presence. The simple act of being together, away from the demands of their roles and the chaos of the outside world, was a profound relief. As days turned into weeks, Minato and Samui continued to work on rebuilding their village and their lives. They attended ceremonies to honor those who had fallen and celebrated the resilience of their people. Their leadership and compassion were evident in every action they took. In the quiet moments of their shared time, Minato and Samui reflected on their journey. They spoke of their hopes for the future, their dreams for a peaceful and prosperous village. Their conversations were filled with warmth and affection, reinforcing the bond they had forged through adversity. The healing process was gradual, but with each passing day, the village and its leaders found strength in their unity. The scars of battle would remain, but they were also a reminder of the resilience and determination that had brought them through the darkest times. Together, Minato and Samui faced the challenges of recovery with renewed hope and commitment. Their love had been tested, but it had emerged stronger, guiding them through the trials they had faced. As they looked to the future, they did so with the knowledge that their bond, their village, and their shared dreams would continue to thrive. Chapter 29, A New Era. The sun rose over Konoha, casting a warm glow across the village that had slowly but surely begun to recover from the recent turmoil. The once ruined streets were now bustling with life, the sounds of construction and laughter mingling as the village embraced a new chapter. For Minato and Samui, this was not just the beginning of a new era for their home but also for their relationship. As the Hokage's residence took shape, Minato and Samui found themselves reflecting on their journey. The struggles, the victories, and the moments of peace they had shared had all led to this point. They had faced numerous challenges, both from within and beyond their village, and had emerged stronger, not just as leaders but as a couple. One morning, Minato and Samui stood on the balcony of their home, overlooking the village that lay before them. The sight was a testament to their hard work and dedication, a landscape of hope and new beginnings. "Look at what we've accomplished," Minato said, his voice filled with a sense of pride and fulfillment. "It's amazing to see how far we've come." Samui smiled, her gaze tender as she looked at her husband. "It's a reflection of the strength and spirit of our people. We've faced so much together, and now we have the chance to build something lasting." They had spent the past few weeks attending to the various aspects of village life, from overseeing the rebuilding efforts to ensuring that the needs of their citizens were met. Minato's role as Hokage and Samui's presence as his supportive partner had been pivotal in guiding Konoha through its recovery. Their reflections were interrupted by the arrival of a special visitor, Naruto, now a young shinobi with a bright future ahead. He approached them with an eager expression, a bundle of papers clutched in his hands. "I've got something for you too," Naruto said, his enthusiasm infectious. "It's a proposal for a new initiative to promote peace and cooperation between the villages." Minato and Samui took the papers, their eyes scanning the details of Naruto's plan. It was a well-thought-out proposal aimed at fostering stronger alliances and creating opportunities for collaboration among the ninja villages. Naruto's vision was ambitious but filled with hope for a future where conflicts could be resolved through diplomacy and mutual respect. "This is incredible, Naruto," Minato said, his admiration evident. "You've put a lot of thought into this." Samui nodded in agreement. "It's a great step forward. We'll need to discuss it with the other leaders, but I believe it could be the foundation for a brighter future." Naruto's face lit up with a mix of pride and relief. "I just want to do my part to help the village and make sure we never have to face something like that again." As Naruto left, Minato and Samui stood together, contemplating the future that lay ahead. Their role in the village was evolving, and they were ready to embrace the new challenges and opportunities that would come their way. The days turned into weeks, and the village continued to thrive under Minato and Samui's leadership. They worked closely with other village leaders, negotiating and implementing initiatives that would strengthen their alliances and promote peace. The efforts of Naruto and the collective commitment of the village leaders were instrumental in creating a network of support and cooperation. Amidst the bustling activities of their daily lives, Minato and Samui found moments of tranquility and reflection. They took time to appreciate the beauty of their village, the resilience of their people, and the strength of their own bond. One evening, as they walked through a newly renovated park, hand in hand, Minato looked at Samui with a sense of contentment. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. Your support and love have been my anchor." Samui returned his gaze with a gentle smile. "And you've been my rock. We've built something truly special here, and I'm excited for what the future holds." As they continued their walk, the stars began to appear in the evening sky, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. The village of Konoha was a symbol of hope and renewal, and Minato and Samui were ready to embrace the new era with optimism and determination. Their journey had been filled with challenges, but it had also been marked by love, growth, and a shared vision for a better future. Together, they faced each new day with the knowledge that their bond and their commitment to their village would guide them through whatever lay ahead. In the heart of Konoha, as the village thrived and grew, Minato and Samui looked forward to the future, ready to build on the foundation they had created and to continue their journey together, hand in hand. Chapter 30, Ever After. The village of Konoha had settled into a peaceful rhythm, its streets filled with the sounds of everyday life. The recent challenges and triumphs had shaped the community into a stronger, more united place. For Minato and Samui, this sense of stability was a welcome change, allowing them to enjoy the fruits of their labor and the strength of their bond. One crisp autumn morning, Minato and Samui found themselves enjoying a rare moment of leisure. The sun filtered through the golden leaves of their garden, casting a warm glow over the peaceful setting. They sat together on a wooden bench, sipping tea and basking in the tranquility. "Remember when we first moved in here?" Samui asked, her eyes sparkling with nostalgia. "It was such a chaotic time, and now look at us." Minato chuckled, his gaze lingering on the vibrant garden. "It's hard to believe how much has changed. We've come a long way from those hectic days." Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of laughter coming from the garden. Naruto, now a confident young shinobi, was playing with a group of village children. His antics, filled with playful energy, brought smiles to everyone's faces. Minato and Samui watched with affection as Naruto led the children in a game. His boundless enthusiasm and genuine care for the next generation were a testament to the positive impact he had on the village. It was moments like these that reminded them of the progress they had made and the future they were building. As the children gathered around for a snack, Naruto approached Minato and Samui, a mischievous grin on his face. "I thought I'd drop by and give you two a little update on our latest project," he said, holding up a colorful flyer. Minato raised an eyebrow. "Another one of your grand ideas?" Naruto nodded enthusiastically. "Yes. We're planning a village festival to celebrate our community's achievements and to thank everyone for their hard work." Samui's eyes lit up at the idea. "That sounds wonderful. It's a great way to bring everyone together and to celebrate all that we've accomplished." As the festival preparations began, the village buzzed with excitement. Stalls were set up, decorations were hung, and the air was filled with the aroma of delicious foods. The festival was a vibrant display of Konoha's spirit, with music, laughter, and joyous celebration. On the day of the festival, Minato and Samui walked hand in hand through the bustling streets, enjoying the lively atmosphere. The festival was a testament to the village's resilience and unity, and Minato and Samui took pride in the role they had played in shaping it. They visited various stalls, sampling foods, and joining in games and activities. Minato's competitive streak came out during a friendly arm wrestling match, while Samui's grace and skill were showcased in a traditional dance performance. Their interactions were filled with laughter and affection, highlighting the strong connection they shared. As the sun set and the festival lights illuminated the night sky, Minato and Samui found a quiet spot near a small pond. They sat together, watching the reflections of the festival lights dance on the water. "This has been perfect," Samui said softly, leaning against Minato. "It's moments like these that remind me of how fortunate we are." Minato wrapped his arm around her, his gaze focused on the twinkling lights. "I couldn't agree more. We've built something truly special here, and I'm grateful for every step of our journey." Their peaceful moment was soon interrupted by the arrival of Naruto and a few friends, who joined them for a final celebratory toast. The group's camaraderie and laughter filled the air, creating a sense of joy and togetherness that was palpable. As the festival drew to a close, Minato and Samui took a moment to reflect on their journey. From the early days of their marriage to the challenges they had faced and the successes they had achieved, their story was one of love, perseverance, and growth. With the village flourishing and their bond stronger than ever, Minato and Samui looked forward to the future with optimism and excitement. Their love had been tested and had triumphed, guiding them through every challenge and strengthening their commitment to each other and to their village. As they walked back to their home, the festival lights fading in the distance, Minato and Samui felt a profound sense of contentment. Their journey had brought them to this moment of peace and happiness, and they were ready to embrace whatever the future held, knowing that their love and dedication would always light the way. In the heart of Konoha, as the village continued to thrive, Minato and Samui's story became a symbol of enduring love and unwavering commitment. Their life together was a testament to the power of partnership and the promise of a bright and hopeful future.